Okay. And we are live on YouTube, guys. All right. Let's just, we're going to talk, you, Anthony, Cato, talk amongst yourselves for a little bit, and we'll get into this and get involved.
Now, it's DJ Mega.
Like DJMegaAim or DJMegaAim 17. Like
This is how we'll always start, guys. We'll start a little like we're off camera, and then we'll get like fully into it. That's what happens when you do a live show sometimes, or at least that's how we do a live show. Because we're dysfunctional.
Now, Mega Aim, where are you from?
I live in New York. I live in Long Island.
Yeah, we're Long Island.
Which part?
Huh?
Which part? I got family out in Long Island. That's why I ask.
Oh, I live in Farmingville.
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
Suffolk County.
Okay, yeah, okay. So Suffolk County, yeah. I'm familiar with like Hauppauge and Hicksville and places like that. But okay, yeah, I never heard of that. But that's what's up. Oh man, how y'all? I've only been there once.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. That's like Nassau County.
Okay, all right. So I'm on a whole different area.
Yeah, you're closer to the borough, so.
Okay, all right, cool. Now, what got you into DJing? Because your name is Mega Aim, DJ Mega Aim. Like, what got you into DJing?
Yeah, about that, I'm not really like DJing like yet. It's more like the name is more like for like aspiration for stuff I want to do in the future.
He does make beats though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that technically count then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. So as far as in the future, I take it you doing production or?
Yeah, like basically like music, audio, video production, stuff like that.
I bet. All right, cool. How long you been at it for?
Probably like a while. Like I've been like really like on and off though. Because let's see, I went to a school. It was an audio recording school. It was called Recording Engineer Institute. So that's where I first got my experience doing audio recording stuff. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I think it took like a year or two off, and then I went to Suffolk County Community College, and that's how I met Tom here.
Yep. Yeah, we met about 2 years ago. Because we were both in radio and television.
Yeah. And y'all met at what is it like
Suffolk County Community College.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there this was my first year at Oswego for like as a transfer student and all that, and this now will be my last year, thank God.
Oh wow. Okay. I bet. Damn.
Yeah. I don't have like a lot of like music that I've made again because I just make that stuff on and off, and it does take me a while to make it. Mm-hmm. But I can send you what I have so far and see what you think of it.
Bet. What is it? Send it to my DM. Tom probably got my Instagram, so yeah, just send it to my
DM. Yeah. I'll send you his Instagram. Yeah. Okay, let's just going on my Facebook group because I have like a few things. I also have a Facebook group which I'll promote more at the end of this video. Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, I'm finna go run and grab my charger.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, yeah. We keeping this good, right, Anthony? Keeping this good. Okay.
Yeah. Hope everyone's having a good day today.
Yeah. So on this summer day, August.
Yeah, summer's almost over, so.
Yeah. Don't depress people.
I hope everyone's been enjoying it. It's been a little crazy.
When is it not crazy? I mean, it's more crazy now, but yeah.
You think it's worse now than it was last year?
No. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy, but it's better, of course.
Yeah. As long as everybody does what they need to do, so.
Yeah. I mean, summer feels like summer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, not completely wrong, so.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, he just admitted. Okay. All right. We don't have anybody watching. I don't know if we had anybody watching before, but.
I mean, not yet. Like
we're still rolling.
Of course. Like when I start sharing it on my side, I'll maybe get some people to watch. Yeah, we're actually doing this live together.
Live. I know, the first time.
Yeah, so this is episode 3, right?
Yeah.
Cool. This has been a little more consistent than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so far. I mean, we've done 3, and, we have a few more interviews lined up and all that. We've been contacting a few people, and we want to keep this going for a little while.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I know if both of you guys want to work in music, I mean, this is a great way to get into the industry.
Yeah. No, I'm very much more of like, yeah, definitely like music review guy. I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers also too that influenced me of doing this, like DJ from Canada, John Bowden. I don't know if you've heard of him. He does rock history music. A musician, JT Curtis. Okay, and I'm tweeting it out.
Like I'm assuming you watch like music content creators on YouTube, right?
Occasionally.
Any in particular that you enjoy?
I know Chucky Beats is a producer out of where is he from? Germany. I enjoy his videos. It's another guy. His name is Cody. It's spelled with an X. It's like C-Y. He chose that. Cody is pretty funny. I like his. He teaches like different aspects of production. Larry O is dope. I like him too. He's a producer that exclusively uses FL. I feel like there's a couple people I'm forgetting. Anthony Fontano. Even though his what does he do? I forgot. He does like album reviews.
Yeah, okay. I've seen his videos.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of like some of the grades he gives certain albums. Like I'm like,
yeah.
I think he rates things too low most of the time, especially when it comes to rap music. But other than that, yeah, I like him. He's cool. He's entertaining. I like how he does like the transition thing. Like he'll say "tran" and the next thing you know, it's like another one. I'd never be ready for it. And, is there anybody else? It's this other guy that has a huge following on YouTube. I wish I knew his name. It's probably not going to do much good, but he uploads like a lot of like instrumentals. I forgot his name. I think it's like Illmind or something. Or I know Illmind's a guy who he's a producer. He dropped like this huge drum pack. I don't remember his name, but whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I understand it doesn't do much good for this purpose. But you know, if he ever sees this, he's dope. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much about like kind of Navy D. I like him. He does like FL Studio reviews. What is it? I think his name is Chew. Chew is another music producer that I follow. There's quite a few. I can go on for a while.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, so I think we're ready to roll for the interview. So welcome, guys. As you see, this is the first time me and Anthony are together from all the videos that we've done this year and all that stuff. And this is our third episode of Question About the Magic. And our guest is Timothy Cato. He was a president of a student organization at SUNY Oswego, which is my college. It's called Digital Music Association. He was president of that last year and now is graduating and all that. And I am now a part of that organization as a director of correspondence and all that. And we'll talk a little bit more about, because you might not know what Digital Music Association is, and that's okay because you'll learn about it today. And Timothy, my boy, will help you guys understand that, and we'll let you know like what that's all about and all that. And so let's begin. Thanks for being here, Timothy. It's been great for you to come on.
Nah, it's DJMegaAim. I appreciate y'all for having me. I really appreciate the outreach, and even giving me an opportunity to come through and speak about something very near and dear to my heart. So thank you guys. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, sure thing. Now, just so I know, because I know like at like school I call you like Cato and all that. What would you rather go as for the interview, Tim or like Cato?
You can call me Timothy.
Timothy? All right, we'll go with Timothy for this. Okay, cool. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, so what did you so now, as being president of Digital Music Organization, like now you did not find you did not like you weren't the oh my god, I can't speak today. You didn't find a club. You didn't create the club, right?
No. Actually, the way I actually got into DMA is really it's very non-traditionally. So a little bit of story time. So when I was originally when I came to college, I loved music. I could always talk to you about the history.
Yeah.
I could talk to you about a lot how much an album sold. I could talk about a lot of different genres, some better than others. But music's always been a thing that I've always loved. I've always been like everything about it, the industry itself, even the good and the bad. So when I came to college, though, I didn't have any production experience. I couldn't play any instruments. I couldn't tell you anything about chords. I really couldn't even tell you much about the music industry in general, if I'm being 100. So, freshman year went by, I didn't do much. Sophomore year, I became an RA. I tried to get involved on campus. I tried to put myself with like-minded people. By the time I got to my junior year, I was a part of an organization at SUNY Oswego called Woman Center. Shout out Woman Center. I was the director of programming for them. So one of my, I don't like the term best friend, but a very near and dear friend of mine who actually was a part of DMA last year. He was the vice president. His name is Jason Tomlinson. Tom, by the way, you should reach out to Jason to have him do this interview. Him, Jeff, we'll talk later. But anyway, I was real good friends with Jason. And, me and Jason, you know what I'm saying? I lived in one building, he lived in the building over, so we would always see each other. Me and Jason, we just naturally clicked because we was both music lovers. Jason actually did the music thing. I just knew so much about it, and I was always talk to him about different things. And I just, you know what I'm saying? We both so much. So, one day I was talking to Jason, I forgot what was going on. I was like, yo, Jason, you trying to pull up later on tonight, watching NBA or something playoffs. I don't know. No, not playoffs, because the playoffs is in the spring semester. But we was doing something. We was getting ready to go do something. And Jason was like, nah, bro. He was like, no, excuse me. What I told Jason was to get involved on campus. That's what happened after I asked him. Anyways, me and Jason was talking one day. Invited him to something. He said he has something to do. I try to always give people in my life that I care about who value my opinion good advice. So I was like, yo, Jason, bro, you should get signed up with, with something on campus, bro. You're real smart, this, that, and the third. He's like, bro, I am. He's like, I'm the president. He said, I'm the vice president of the organization. I said, vice president? I'm like, dog, it's November. October. You just now telling me this, bro? You ain't, y'all ain't got no social media. You ain't text me. I understand, you ain't got to tell me all your business, but come on, homie. You're supposed to be homies. And I'm just now finding yes, and I'm like, what organization are you a part of? And I love Jason, but I thought he was gonna say something weird, let me not say weird, but I thought he was gonna say something very Jason-ish. That's what I'll say.
He was a part of a cult, you mean, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know about a cult, but something very specific. You feel me?
Right.
The National Organization of Mac and Cheese Lovers, something weird. You feel me, bro? Something, but nah, shout out my boy J Tom. But I thought it was gonna be something very specific. So he's like, "Oh, I'm a part of the Digital Music Association." I said, "What, bro? Can I come? Can I come see what it's about? Can I? What are you, bro? This is me. This is how me and you became homies. How you just now gonna tell me this?" And Jason's that type, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, "Yeah, bro." He was like, I was like, "Yo, bro," and the way my mind think, I'm like, "Nah, forget all that." I was like, "Yo, Jason, let's collaborate." I was like, if you're a part of a recognized organization here at Oswego, I'm a part of a recognized organization here at Oswego. Let's collaborate. He was like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. He was like, bro, we got 4 people. We meet bi-weekly. We don't have no social media presence, this, that, and the third. I'm like, man, bro, let's collaborate. Because I just wanted to work with Jason. I'm the type of person, I like collaborative team effort. You feel me?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in this music game. You know what I'm saying? It's if you go on you go look up one of your favorite albums and go to the Wikipedia page, it's probably gonna be about 100 different people who took place in an album.
Yeah.
Only usually one person, the artist or the group or whatever it is, and the producers get most of the credit. But you know what I'm saying? A long list of people, you know what I'm saying, collaborate with music. So I just was like, yeah, Jason, let's collaborate. So Jason was like, I bet. I was like, do y'all have a director of programming? He was like, no, bro, I'm gonna be doing the program. He was like, I'm the most equipped, this, that, and the third. I'm gonna be doing the program. So I was like, all right, bet, cool. I don't mind. Me and Jason had classes together. I've seen him in action before, so I was like, all right, bet. So me and Jason came together, whatever. We did this program. It had to be about women, of course, because I was a part of Women Center. And then it had to be about music. So we did this, we did a woman in hip hop program, which pretty much just kind of talked about, the different themes within, a lot of female hip hop artist music.
Wow.
We talked about the first successful female hip hop song, which is Roxanne's Revenge by Roxanne Shante. For those of y'all who don't know nothing about no 80s hip hop, go look that up. Roxanne was dope back in her day. We talked about, we just kind of talked about how it just kind of transitioned and how hard it is for women and hip hop and everything like that. How we did the program in 2019. Fast forward 2019. you know what I'm saying, we got women that's out here winning Grammys in the genre. You know what I'm saying? Like a genre that's extremely misogynistic. Well, excuse me, historically misogynistic. You know, just so many different things. So we did that program, and while we was doing that program, and I know this is a long story, but while we was doing that program, I met the president. His name was Jeff Johnson. He was the senior advisor last year. And when I met Jeff, you know, because Jason was like, yo, the president's going to pull up and help us with the program. And I was like, that's really not his job. Like, you know, that's like our job. And I was like, I mean, he doesn't have to if he don't want to. Because, you know, when you're a president of an organization, most of the time, you know, you just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just let them do their thing. I got to oversee everything. But he was like, nah, he wants to come. He insists. I was like, all right, bet. I ain't going to tell him to come. So Jeff pulled up. I met Jeff. Immediate great energy. We did the program. The program was phenomenal. We had a packed room, about 30, 35 people. I don't know who else tuned into this. Some of y'all might go to big D1 schools, but at little old SUNY Oswego, you got an average of 20 people at your program. You're doing something right. Yeah, the program was excellent. We also collaborated with my co-director in the program. Her name is Tiger. Salute to Tiger. That's another person you should reach out to as well.
Okay, cool.
Like I said, I just want to make sure I tell you before I forget.
Right. No, of course. We'll talk after.
Yeah, we did it, collaborated with her, and then the first day I met Jeff, like when we did the program, we collaborated in the program. I was just asking more about DMA. Yeah, we're a music organization. You know, we focus mainly on like, you know, digital music production, you know, we give artists different techniques and just, you know, try to show them how to, you know, do different things as far as within their DAWs and, you know, different things about the music industry, you know, where to get plugins, where to get VSTs, what's useful, what's not, all this information. So I'm like, all right, like how many people is it? Like, is there any way I can get involved? Do y'all have a committee? And then they just kind of looked and said, no, we don't have no committee. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay, well, I was like, is there a position available? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what's going on? You know what I mean? Because like, I've never heard of these guys. I'm like, y'all have a music organization that nobody's ever heard of y'all. Like, y'all got it. Something got to be going on. So then asked about a position. I was like, well, do y'all have a director of public relations? Because, you know, obviously I like to talk. And what is it? He was like, nah, we don't. I was like, could y'all use one? He was like, yeah. I was like, can I be the guy? Like, shit. Like, I was like, well, shit. Like, you know, work with me here, y'all. Like, I'm trying to help y'all help me. Like, you know. And then he was like, hey, Jason and him stood up and started clapping. Welcome to the team, bro. And it just happened like that. And then with the public relations, I also took over the social media because, you know, I'm like, you guys don't have no social media. How the hell do you expect to run an organization? You gotta have social media. Everybody. Oh shit. Sorry. Everybody is in front of this thing nowadays, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's how like honestly your organization, like I knew more about it was from the social media.
Exactly. And that's why, you know, that's why I just was like, man, what the hell is y'all doing? Y'all have no social media? Yeah, we have an Instagram that hasn't been touched in like a year. I was like, y'all. I was like, you know what, bro? But you know, I have to remind myself when I have an idea, especially when I feel like I have a good idea, especially when I care, I'm gonna push it. You know what I'm saying? I'm aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, not aggressive, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I'm saying, bro? But, you know, I'm like, hey, y'all, we need to start doing this, that, and the third. But I was like, hold on, bro. Let me slow down. I was like, you know, because I'm new to this. I had no clue about I didn't even know what a DAW was. I didn't know what a DAW was. I didn't know nothing about no FL Studio, no Logic, no Ableton, no Studio One, no PreSonus, no VSTs, I didn't know nothing about none of that. So I say, you know what, Cato, bro, you need to slow down because, you know, all these guys are musicians. Jason already had put out an EP that he mixed, recorded, wrote all the music for and everything. Jason already had that out. Jeff is a full-fledged producer. At this time, Jeff was about maybe like a month or two away from getting his first placement on somebody, like on an actual album / mixtape / EP. Not a mixtape, an EP. Aiden Hager is another member of DMA. Shout out to my dog, Aiden. Aiden is literally a producer and engineer. Like, he was already doing his thing. He had already had connections in the music industry. And then, was there somebody else? There was another guy, Josh Fogel. That's my guy too. Okay. Josh Fogel, he was on the e-board. He was graduating the next month. So Josh Fogel was there. So he was a producer type of guy too. So all these guys have all this experience. I had none, so I had to kind of sit back. But anyways, Tom, because I probably just spoke for the next like 15 minutes.
No. It's fine, man. It's a cool story. You're definitely an interesting guy.
That's pretty much.
We like interesting people on this channel, so yeah.
All right, man. So that's pretty much how that happened. So that's pretty much how I got introduced to DMA. And then like I said, I don't want to tell the whole history about DMA because I'm sure you have questions, but just to pause for a second, as far as how I found out about DMA and what got me on board, as far as to what got me the position, that's what got me the position.
Okay. Well, no, that's interesting because now you mentioned like an organization you were part of before. What was that? That was woman.
Woman Center. Yes, sir.
So was that also a music organization too? That
no, Women Center was I forgot I had it memorized at one point. Women Center is pretty much in simple terms at Oswego. I'm saying I'm not on there anymore. But hey, I gave 2 great years at Women's Center, so it's gonna be a week.
Yeah.
Women's Center, pretty much what the organization is founded on. We pretty much we promote advocacy and support to all women and non-gender binary people. If that makes sense. So that's pretty much what we do. So we just do. That's pretty much what goes on. Like shout out Tosh. Tosh was the president my junior year. She oversaw my junior year when I was on the e-board. Tosh, shout out Ayana, Lizeth, what's his name, Ryro, all of them. Katie, I forgot. Is her last name Davison? Probably a whole bunch of people that people probably not really. Let me not say not interested in. But anyway, shout out them. They advocated to get a period act passed at the school, which pretty much for women's hygiene products in all like bathrooms. Women's Center had like the Take Back the Night, which is like was like a walk to not honor.
Oh, we did that at Suffolk. I was actually involved in that at my school, radio and television. I edited a video for that because I was involved in a school internship I did there. Well, and I was a camera guy on it, and then did video on a channel because we did this program called You Should Know, where it was a series of educating things of like Suffolk and all that. And that wasn't involved in that, but basically my professor had a YouTube channel where we basically all the types of videos our program would produce would be stuff that was educational towards our college or stuff that was beneficial to like students.
Yeah, facts. Okay, so that's fire. So that's pretty much kind of like Women's Center. That's kind of like that's what we did. We had weekly programs where we talked about all types of stuff. Like we talked about the porn industry and how it affected women.
Of course.
Yeah, we talked about politics. We talked about a wide range spectrum of topics.
Wow.
With Women's Center, we talked about a lot of different things. So that's pretty much what Women's Center is. That's what we got.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So I guess now of going more into DMA and all that. Now, like when you so what? For somebody who does not know what it actually is, what's the way that you would sum up this organization to somebody who does not know what it is?
Don't know what DMA is. So pretty much what DMA is, because DMA has changed in a lot of ways. Like DMA has changed in a lot of ways, and it's in simple terms what we do. Like generally what you're going to expect from DMA for years to come. Yeah. That's how I'll explain it.
Right.
Like I said, we're a music organization, music lovers, music people. We all do music somehow, some way. Like I said, I was the president, and I couldn't tell you what a chord was. I couldn't tell you what a doll was.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you about anything.
That makes me feel so relieved because, like, I'm such a huge music fan, but I don't know, like, that much about, like, like a chord. I'd never played an instrument, all that stuff, I'm
exactly. So, I always encourage people. It's not just about, like, you really just gotta love music to be in DMA.
Yeah, exactly. I've been into that since I was since I was a baby, honestly, Yeah, that's my main passion, yeah.
I feel that. So pretty much with DMA, our overall, like within our mission statement is that we pretty much help artists and as far as their music production. That's kind of like we were focused on, hence digital music. So when it comes, as far as production, as far as how to market themselves, because, that's digital. A lot of marketing is done digitally, through social media, those are a couple different elements. But our main goal, our main focus is to help, like I said, find out different, producing techniques, teach people about EQing, teach people about bussing, teach people about, maybe a little bit of music theory, teach people about gross beat, teach people about different musical effects. It's really just about production and engineering in general. That's really what DMA, what we were founded on, and that's what it was about. As I kind of came into it, we did a lot more about history. And, DMA was actually founded on the principles of hip hop because matter of fact, shout out Lou Santo. That's my dog. Lou is actually the founder of DMA.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, Lou graduated 2018 when I was a sophomore. I've never met Lou in person. So Lou was the founder of DMA, and Lou, his overall goal for DMA, he just had to find a professor cool enough to be like, hey, I want to do a music organization that's different from classical music and just what people will call boring music, the Beethoven,
right.
Even though, you know what I'm saying, what typical people call boring. Yeah, the people who literally created everything we're doing now.
Yeah.
He said that, like, you know, he wanted it to just be a little bit more like, you know, like updated, and he wanted it to feature a few more genres, so EDM, hip hop, this, that, and the third. But like I said, when I took over DMA, or not even necessarily when I took over, but like Jeff's presidency into my presidency, you know, it was a little bit more about how to market yourself, social media, how to get in on the industry, how to make it his song, how to do this, how to do that. That's a little bit more like what it was about. Like with me, it was about a little bit more broader of the industry. And I still had to keep the essence of DMA. So we still had to do like our beat cookups. Because when I came into DMA, that was the only thing we had was our beat cookups.
Yeah, I learned a little bit about that from, now the now president of DMA, Akil, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it was about our beat cookups. So that's all we were having. And then I came in, I was like, yo, y'all, let's do programs. Like, we got people in here who could produce beats, but if they don't know how to get into the industry, if they don't know how to make a connection, if they don't know how to market themselves, they're not going to make it. Because you know how many fire-ass producers are sitting around, how many fire-ass DJs are sitting around, but if they don't know about real quick, drop some knowledge on y'all. You want to know what a rock star or a rap star or a pop star and a brain surgeon have in common?
What?
They both can make a lot of money very fast and not know squat about business.
Yeah. That's true though.
I would hate to see each other try to do each other's jobs. I don't know which one would turn out even worse. But that's my point, bro. So I'm like, y'all, we got people in here. Like people, if they come here and they know how to make music, they know how to make music. But if they don't know about royalties, if they don't know about, publishing, if they don't know about fair record deals, if they don't know about how to get their music out there independently, because most of the time, every artist is independent at one point. You know what I'm saying? Some stay independent, but, you know, almost everybody's looking for that big label deal. I was like, yo, if we don't teach them how to do this and we know how to do it, we're failing these people.
Yeah.
Because music is a lot more than just getting on your motherfucking keyboard and playing a couple chords and getting on there and rapping or singing about whatever shit you want to rap about or sing about. This shit is entertainment. This is a business.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
As I became president, we kind of not shifted our focus, but yeah, we had our beat cookups. Shout out to Aiden and James Gappa. And really all the DMA participated in the beat cookups. Shout out all of them. Everybody but me, realistically. I oversaw them, but I tried to let them run wild and do what they do. But, we started our beat cookups, but then it was a little bit more about like education and just kind of having a little bit more like fun programs. So that's pretty much what DMA is about. If you're a music lover, come to DMA. If you're a producer, you want to get nicer, you want to get tighter at what you're doing, come to DMA. You want to learn how to market yourself, you want to learn about the industry, come to DMA. If you want to have good talks about just music in general, come to DMA. Even though a lot of it is very hip hop based, and that's probably kind of my fault due to, who I was as a president. I know Akil listens to a lot of different music. I think Akil probably listens to a little bit more, probably more music than I do. So, and the more people like, for example, Tom.
Yeah. Now,
like you on DMA, one thing that I'm going to recommend for you, try to do a program.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I always say, like, even though Akil was our first ever director of programming.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like I did programming.
I do not know who that is, but
I think
they might be just goofing around, but yeah.
Oh,
you explained who you are. They can always come back to the beginning of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus that comment was a while ago, so sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I seen hearts in this. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I think I know who that was.
I think
whoever it is, they like one of the auctions. Yeah, they like what they saw.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Someone tried to slip in your DMs.
I don't know what it was, but whoever it was,
names. Yeah. Oh my God.
We appreciate you for being here. Thank you. You bring in a lot of good energy. But anyways, as I was saying, so, when we was I forgot where I was at. Yeah. So with our presidency, so that's what I'm saying, Tom. Like one thing.
Yeah, you talk about the program.
Yeah. What I want you to do, Tom, is like with DMA, because you know a lot about rock music.
Yeah, rock is like my main passion, and R&B too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys don't necessarily have, and I'm not gonna like. This is just maybe a suggestion for Akil because Akil's president now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But one thing I think that we should do now is that, now that, rock is like your passion and stuff like that, and I don't know the other members of DMA currently.
Yeah.
I think, maybe you guys should all maybe try to pitch in an idea and, try to broaden up the programming. Because like I said, with me and Akil, what we kind of did was it's a little bit more broad. I mean, it was a little bit kind of focused on hip hop, R&B, and pop.
Yeah.
So now that you there, DMA could be a little bit more diverse and be a little bit more welcoming.
Yeah, exactly.
I challenge you to do that time. Be like, yo, Akil, like, if I, I don't know if we have a director of programming or, as you the president,
we're trying to still because there's really there's only 6 members really, just somebody just joined, so there's 6 of us now.
Okay.
I think I think Akil's gonna try to do some of that, but it's gonna be we're gonna I guess all take turns with all that stuff and try to
overall DMA will change every year because music changes every year and people
exactly. And I think also too it was hard to I think definitely to overcome considering with the pandemic too, now that we have a first year that will probably be a lot in person, we can have more people come in and more people at the programs or just whatever, just more people so engaged, because I guess that's the point too, just getting people into that, showing the appreciation of music and showing what it can do for people. And also too, it's it doesn't have to be just a story about a boy and a girl, which I'm not saying love can also be relatable, especially to people at this age and all that, but also music that I think of somebody like a Bob Dylan or something like that, who was writing about times and all that stuff of what's going on. I think that's what's good too, because a lot of the music that was going on in the 60s can honestly sometimes represent what's going on in today's type of country and all that, and in our world with the pandemic and all that, and just with everything going around. And I think it can relate to with students too, of just certain things. And because music, as the way Stevie Wonder said in Sir Duke, music is a language that we all can understand.
Facts. Exactly. So, like I said, Tom, I wasn't even thinking like that. So that's what I'm saying. The way DMA kind of was, Jeff's presidency, we was finding our footing. It was kind of introducing, programming, music overall, not just from the digital aspect, but from an everything aspect, from an entertainment business aspect. In my presidency, we kind of put it all together with programming and trying to diversify a little bit. And then now, like I said, with Akil's presidency, it's whatever he wants it to make it to be. Tom, I'm gonna go ahead and let you ask your next question. I just gotta get up for a quick second. I gotta cut my AC on. It's hot in here.
Okay, yeah, sure. So actually, Anthony, do you want to ask any question?
I was gonna ask you how you guys met.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Well, actually, do you want to tell the story first, or I can tell it?
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, it's not. I guess it's, of course, it's not one of those interesting mean stories, because we met in class and all that stuff. We were in a nonfiction writing class and stuff like that at Oswego, and I remember the first day. I mean, I don't think we talked until maybe about 2 weeks later. I messaged you because I know we all followed each other. Most of the students followed each other because I know we all kind of communicated very quickly, on Zoom and all that. I know I think I had your social media very quickly on, but anyway, no. And I knew early on that you said that you were a part of this, that you were president of this organization. I saw a post on Instagram. What really hooked me was the Elton John post you had of the second Elton John album, and I was like, okay, yes, because what is this organization? I got to find out more about it, because Elton John's one of my favorite artists of all time, and I was blown away by two of your take on the album too, and the types of songs that you were mentioning and all that too, and which and some songs that I didn't really even think of as classics of Elton John, but are in a sense, even somewhere Rock and Roll Madonna was even used in the Elton John biopic. So yeah, but but yeah, and that's how that's kind of how we basically met. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Tom pretty much explained it. We was in creative writing 208.
Yeah. Remember the CRN number?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know me, man. Yeah. My memory is pretty damn good.
Well, he was the jokester in class too, and that was fun. He would always, especially the last day when you were shouting at everybody, and that was really fun. And then when your mom came in too, No, because your mom was around, and and the professor was like, hey, can I meet your mom? And you had your mom come in.
Oh yeah, that's mom dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh mama, you looking good.
Yeah, that's mom. Yeah. Shout out my mama. Shout out Mr. Nana. But nah, what is it? But yeah, that's pretty much how we met. We was in there with Donna Steiner.
Yeah,
we was in there with Donna Steiner. You know, everybody in the class, you know, the class was like real diverse. You know, had a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of I was a senior, Tom was a junior. We had freshmen in the class.
Yeah.
And it was a small class, and Professor Steiner really pushed us to kind of like know each other. So she was like, "Yo, you guys want to promote anything like that?" You know, and obviously I don't have no problem with talking to people. So, you know, I just promoted DMA, and I just put my personal social media in there. I'm like, hey, bro, like, you know, hey, you know what I'm saying? The more connections you have, the better, the way I look at it. Good connections, because you can also have bad ones. But anyways, but yeah, and then Tom was just in there, and I guess Tom added me. I added him back or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
When Tom added me back, I was promoting DMA. I always talked about DMA, everything like that, you know, because, you know, I wore DMA on my sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably not ever going to get tattoos, but if I ever do DMA, I'll probably be one. It's that real. It's that blood in and blood out for me. You feel me?
Yeah, well, I think it's awesome how passionate you are about that. I mean, you really get passionate into like those types of projects, you know, even when it's in school, and that's great. You know, it's what drives you, you know, later into success. You know.
Most certainly. Appreciate that, Tom. So, Tom hit me in my DM one day. I forgot what was going on. And I'm like, Tom Radigan, who the hell is that? I'm like, who the hell is that? I think I got a class with somebody, and I was looking, and, you know, Zoom, half the time I was cutting my camera on and off, or, you know, this, like, you know, I wasn't really too interested in, you know, class being real. Love Donna Steiner. She taught a fabulous class. If she sees Professor Steiner, miss you a whole lot. Yeah, but you know, I just it was my favorite. Let me not cap, but as a senior,
when you said that, you said it was like you might be my second favorite. I remember you saying something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Work, bro. Every single time you look up, bro, paragraph here, paper here. I understand that's the point of this class.
It'd be awesome if she was watching this, but I don't know if she has a link to my YouTube channel. So yeah,
but like I said, Professor Steiner, I still love you. You know what I'm saying? You easily top 3 favorite professor I ever had. You're a great lady, but a great woman, pardon me. But as I was saying, Tom just hit me in my DM one day. And he was like, he's like, Cato, I was just going through the DM, because Tom had to scroll. He didn't have to scroll. Yeah, he had to scroll kind of like far, because this was the spring semester. So we probably had about we were probably pushing about like 100, 150. So he had to do a little scrolling. So I had wrote an album for Elton John because I wanted to diversify my album palette. Right. You can't. I was like, Timothy, you can't just do 100. Like, you know, because everybody on DMA wrote for the social media. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I want to diversify mine. So I did an album by Alicia Keys. I love Alicia Keys.
Yeah,
I love Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys, you're probably not watching, but if you ever see this, you know what I'm saying? But I love Alicia Keys. Elton is I love Elton. I'll get into Elton later because we probably have
we'll get
a whole separate conversation. You know, and I just had like different albums that I was doing because I just wanted to make sure I diversify it. You know what I'm saying? That way it could catch people's eyes. You know, and I was encouraging everybody. Like we had an album by Tame Impala on there. We had an album by Shaka. Well, we were supposed to have an album by by Tracy Chapman, but it didn't. It ended up getting on there because we had a couple too many towards the end of the year. But you know, we had albums by the Notorious B.I.G. We had albums by Jack Harlow. We had albums by Mariah Carey.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to diversify it so much. So Tom hit me, and Elton John's second album, which is called Elton John, is my favorite album by him. And you know, I just rock with Elton so much, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna talk about music and like who I mess with, who I rock with, I was like, I gotta have an album about Elton. And you know, a lot of people don't listen to albums anymore because now in the music industry, people use singles. So anytime I did my album review, I always made sure that I spent time with it and that I didn't just talk about the singles. You feel me? I love Border Song, I love Your Song, but like I said, Rock and Roll Madonna, you know, like, you know, and then I forgot the name of the other song, but I remember exactly.
Was it Border Song maybe?
Not Border Song. It was another song. And it'll take me too long.
Yeah.
But I remember it's the one that I said he sings. I remember exactly what I said. He said he sings with so much conviction. It reminds you of like church on Sunday morning.
Oh, was it Take Me to the Pilot? Because that was the
yes. Take Me to the Pilot. You know what I'm saying? So I always try
one of my favorites too.
Yeah, you know, and I took a lot of time with those album reviews, and you know, I was just so happy just to see that somebody really read it and like really rocked with it. So when Tom hit me, like I was taken back. You feel me? I'm thinking Tom's gonna ask me something about class or like the homework or something. Like I know. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Donna Steiner. I got a B. I don't know how. I should have had an F. I did everything late. I did everything late. Professor Steiner.
Yeah, I got a B too. That was I got the same grade. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, bro! I'm happy with a B. I deserve it. I deserve a C. But, I remember like when Tom had hit me, he just asked me. I was like, you know what, Tom, bro? Like, I really appreciate that. And then me and Tom, that's how we pretty much met, DJ Mega, and that's how pretty much how we met. And when Tom hit me up, you know what I'm saying, we were just kind of chatting and everything like that. Like I was like, yeah, like that's my boy Elton. I rock with him. This, that, and the third. Me and Tom just became cool, and then he just became heavily involved in the DMA. He would shout us out a little bit. He would comment and stuff like that. So I seen he was very involved. So me and Tom, and then I've actually DJ Mega. I'm sorry, DJ Mega. I know it's another part to your name, but I forgot the second part. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me. Yeah. That's pretty much how me and Tom technically never even seen each other in person.
Yeah, I know we never met, and I don't know if we will because I mean you're in Georgia.
You're going back to Oswego, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Oswego. I was at Oswego last year for like 5 weeks, honestly, and but with everything with COVID like being down, like my roommate left like very early on. He only stayed like one day, and like basically like everything was like there was like nowhere really to go. All my classes were online, and just like it didn't pay. So, I basically did the rest of my, that semester and my spring semester at home and stuff like that. Cause I didn't know what was going on. The world was crazy. The world is still crazy, and all that stuff. Yeah. So it was just like, but now I'm going back there, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that I'm involved in this. I'm glad that I'm involved in an organization that I like, at least I know what I'm involved in, because I hate when there's, cause I think when you go into school or just like this could just be me, but like when a club or starts and all that stuff or an activity, it seems really cool, to get involved in that. But sometimes when the balls get really rolling and all that is when your classes start, that's when the work starts piling up, and it gets hard to get kind of involved. And like for me, it's a little bit hard because then it's with all this class stuff's coming at me, then I'm I have a hard time figuring out oh, can I do this? Then do I really want to commit to that? But at least now I know what I'm doing, before that, and at least have an idea of how I can time manage and plan all that stuff, because I always need to plan stuff, a day before. I need to know what I'm doing,
Exactly. But I respect that, Tom, and that's the way to be. But DJ Mega, just real quick, like I was just telling Tom, me and Tom actually never actually met in person. We just became cool through social media. So, and like I said, he just always, Tom's just always been cool with me. So I was like, that's the homie. Never met him. But Tom, if you're going back to Oswego, I'll be in New York next month. So when I come to New York, I'm definitely gonna stop at Oswego. So I'll make it my business to reach out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much how DJ Mega. That's pretty much how me and Tom met. Just sitting in class, just sitting in a fun class. Shout out, shout out.
Yeah, no, and I think what was I gonna also ask you about with the organization too? Now with for instance well, now, okay. This is something I wanted to ask you about, because how you mentioned that what your goal was was to show people about the music industry now, which I think is good. Definitely, because there's a lot of people that want to be involved, but might not know how to with publishing or royalties and all that, and it's good. And I think honestly nowadays with all the artists that have gone through stuff with the labels and all the the crap that they've gone through and stuff like that, I think it's now I think there's so much information now that an artist doesn't have to screw up like somebody did in the 60s or the 50s, and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of information. I mean, hell, there's more courses now in college about that too, that can show, for instance, even as a broadcasting major, I know that there are certain courses that talk about that as well. What I guess I was gonna mainly ask too is, business wise, is what is your take on artists doing stuff on streaming services like Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music? What are your take on streaming service for new up and coming artists?
For new up and coming artists.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm about to say I have a take on streaming, and then but for new.
Yeah, because I read an article of all that stuff, and that's why I wanted your take, because I'm sure you know all about
specifically
that.
Newer upcoming artists.
What?
specifically streaming and new and up and coming artists.
Yeah, like or just independent artists and all that stuff. You know, artists
You
that
know
are
what-
not
you know
like
what,
mainstream,
actually,
like an Ariana Grande or a Drake or Taylor Swift. You know.
Yeah, you know what, Tom? Actually, it's kind of three parts to this question.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in a little bit to all three.
Sure. Go ahead.
So it's like this, right? So we're gonna start because you asked me this one first. You said
Yeah.
new up and coming artists as far as streaming goes. I mean, matter of fact, no, we're gonna start with streaming and oh whoa. They just like dropped out. Wow, right when I was getting ready to talk. I don't know who's in here. I can't see. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get Tom back in here.
Okay, we just cut out for some reason. That was weird. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was getting ready.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was just weird. We just cut out like that.
Shit, I'm the host. Whoa.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I was getting ready to DM you. I was like, Tom, I don't know what the hell happened, bro. But nah. So pretty much what ended up happening was we, as I was saying, we gonna talk about streaming in general.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm being real with you, I love streaming. Like,
Yeah.
I love the idea of it to a certain extent. I don't necessarily like the numbers because how much money an artist actually makes off of a single stream, I don't even think is like a half a cent. You know what I'm saying? So I do overall like the idea of streaming. Does need to be worked out. Definitely needs to be another court case or something had in order to make it a little bit more fair. But this is the thing I love about streaming. Let me break it down for you. So what's streaming? Streaming, so the music industry was at a peak in 1999.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the music industry was at a peak in 1999. Hip hop had started to establish itself. Rock and roll was still going strong. Then you had all these different versions of rock, like the type of rock music Nirvana makes, which is like grunge or some shit like that.
Yeah, grunge.
And then you had like, I think it's alternative rock, it's like Green Day and Linkin Park and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you had Britney Spears. Britney Spears was doing 6 number one singles in the span of a year. She was the only person to do that at that time since Michael Jackson. So, you know what I'm saying? So pop is going crazy. You got Pink coming out. Christina Aguilera is finna come out. Rap music. I mean, unfortunately, R.I.P. to Tupac and Biggie, the two faces of it. Them two passed away. But rap music, we got Nelly on his way. And, 50 Cent is being primed up. Like, we got a lot going on with rap music. Like I said, rock is doing its thing. They're still pretty much the number one genre at the time. So music in general is just fabulous. You know what I'm saying? It's lovely. You feel me?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And the way music worked back then was it was like this, you had record stores, people would go, they would buy your album. Once they buy your album, they bought it. So regardless if they motherfucking have your album and they put it on their record player or they put it in a CD player and they listen to it 1,000 times, or they used it to motherfucking be a door stopper. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever they use your album for, you know what I'm saying? Your album got bought. You know what I'm saying? The artist got paid, the label got paid, you got the music, and you went on about your business. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. On average, back in like the 90s when the music era was at its peak, or like 99 when the music era was at its peak, the average person would spend about $50 in record stores.
Right.
You see that? You know what I'm saying? Because, you could buy but so many albums. And then the cool thing about record stores was that, there was competition, but at the end of the day, you could buy as many CDs as you want. You could buy as many vinyls as you wanted. Yeah. So if I was a fan of Tupac and Biggie, unless, you know what I'm saying, I don't have to be like, oh, well, I can only buy. No, I could buy both of their albums and they both make their money. You know what I'm saying? Their fans bought their albums. What is it? My fans buy my albums. They fans buy their albums, whatever. It was all good. It was all great. At the end of the day, everybody's making their bread. But like I said, an average person spent about $40 to $50 on music. So, shit was cool.
Yeah.
You had your physicals and everything like that. But now with the physicals, you have the music. So now you don't have to go and buy the album again. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the thing with streaming. And this is why streaming is so, like I said, I know I'm kind of talking in circles, but follow me this, right?
Yeah.
So with streaming, right? Streaming, you have all these different prices of all the different things. Like, you could get Spotify for like $4 or $5. You know what I'm saying? You could get Apple Music, depending on family plans, you can get that for $15.
Right.
How much? So real quick, let me make sure, or you know what I'm saying? Let me make sure everybody's still with me. How much money did I say back in the 90s when music was at its peak that people would spend at record stores per year?
Wait, what? It was like, what? Are you quizzing me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh my God. Jeez. All right.
It's all good, Tom. $40 to $50.
Okay, yeah, $50. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you said
$50 is how much the average person would spend at record stores.
Right, and because you were saying that, like, no, which I get it, and I think I was even watching like that documentary, like on Tower Records about that it's like, as much as like, like you want to spend like on like one artist like Britney Spears, and like you might like Britney Spears or Justin Timberlake hypothetically and stuff like that, you might not be able to afford all their albums and all that stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So now with streaming, right?
Yeah,
so that's what the average person was spending per year at record stores. Now with streaming, all these different price points, let's just go $7. 7 is right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Because Apple Music, they can charge you up to $15 an hour, depending on if you have a family plan. And then motherfucking Spotify can charge you 5 or 3 or whatever. So we'll just go with 7. So, like I said, it's a monthly subscription.
Right.
$12 is $84. So if you break that down, that's almost double.
Yeah.
And the music industry from 2000 to 2016 was doing this. It was plummeting. People weren't playing records no more. Shit was getting bootlegged in the early 2000s. Like, I would realistically like to see how many more albums would have been sold if streaming was around or if pirating wasn't around back in the early 2000s. Yeah. I would love to see how many more records artists would have sold. But I said all that to say this about streaming. Now that 2016, we see it doing this, and because streaming has made music more readily available. Because now, you know what I'm saying, everybody's in front of their phone, and now this phone, I have Apple Music. I have access to probably 1 billion songs.
Yeah, that's like with Amazon Music.
Exactly. Amazon.
Like, what does Amazon Music not have? Yeah.
Exactly. Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. I think SoundCloud has a premium.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm trying to make overall is like now the music industry, when streaming got introduced, the music industry finally had a positive year. 2017 positive, 2018 positive, 2019 positive, 2020 positive, 2021 positive already. So the point that I'm trying to make is that, like I said, streaming per person compared to the 90s when people were spending $40 to $50 on a CD has doubled in value with streaming alone.
Yeah.
And now so many more people could be involved because almost everybody, I know y'all know a 50 or 60-year-old with an iPhone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro? So now the 50, 60-year-old can listen to the Four Tops and, you know what I'm saying, the Stylistics and, or even 80-year-olds, if they got an iPhone, they can listen to Chuck Berry and his sister Rosetta Tharpe, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they can listen to their music from their era, and then people my age, I like listening to Pooh Shiesty.
Who?
Pooh Shiesty, a rapper from Memphis, if y'all don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, signed to Atlantic.
No, we have. Yeah.
Yeah, currently incarcerated right now, free Pooh. So as I was saying, to kind of speed this thing up. So, that's the interesting thing with streaming. And that's why I think the music industry within these next 10 to 20 years, and especially with the way technology is going, and I seen somebody the other day lose their headphones. He had his Apple Watch up to his ear. So now with the way technology is going and everything like that, I think the streaming is about to provide a crucial.
Yeah. I'm listening, Kato.
Oh yeah, take your time. I think streaming is going to provide a crucial financial increase throughout these next, I won't even give it 20 years. I'll probably realistically give it 5 to 10, maybe even less, because that's just how crazy streaming is going right now. So as far as streaming is great for, as far as the industry to make money. But as I said before, an artist might make about 0.44 cents, which isn't even a half a cent off of each stream. So even if an artist is doing 1 billion streams, they're making money off of it, but of course it's not fair. So, and then the thing with streaming is now, streaming, a negative aspect of it is that it's put a negative, a negative aspect of streaming is this. Now, you can only stream one song at a time. See, when you bought an album, you bought the album, you had the album, everybody made their money, and everything was kumbaya. But now, you can only stream one song. Y'all not good? Y'all not good over there?
Yeah, no, we had an issue with our laptop and all that stuff. So yeah,
I'm
just gonna, I'll grab a chair and you can sit around there.
Okay. Y'all want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going, man.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I
hear you loud and clear.
Okay, all right, bet. So, that's the thing with streaming now is that, like I said, that's a negative thing from it. Now with streaming, like I said, you can't really buy physicals anymore. Well, you can, but it's like now it's like more of like an art. You can't really buy physicals anymore. So now you can only stream one song at a time. So now only the however many top artists, you know what I'm saying, are really going to make that money, and it's really going to be that lucrative because, like I said, you can only listen to one thing at a time through these streaming platforms. So now that's pretty much my overall take. Too much going on, definitely good information. Oh, appreciate that.
Thanks.
Misplaced loyalty. Yeah, appreciate that, my dog. Thank you. So, anyways,
I know who that is.
Oh, who is it?
I think that's Carlos.
Oh, Carlos. Oh, okay.
Yeah, salute to Carlos.
That's much better.
Yeah, salute to Carlos. But anyways, as I was saying, like I said, so that's pretty much my take on streaming. Is it about to increase the music industry by 90? Yeah. However, something needs to get worked out because these artists are getting effed. I'll say effed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, I'll say effed. I'll try to keep it PG. But these guys is getting effed now. So that's the way I feel about overall with streaming. And now, like I said, a lot of artists are about to suffer because you can only stream one song at a time. Like I said, when you bought the album, you had it. Everybody got paid, you did. So, you know, it's a little bit more cutthroat now. So that's pretty much where I'm coming from with it. Now, as far as how I see it for, I think you said like young up-and-coming artists, I think it's a beautiful thing. Because now, you know how easy it is to put a song on Spotify?
Explain.
And I'm not dissing nobody or anything like that. I understand everybody's reading level is different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the best reader in the world. But for example, literally, this is how it was explained to me. I've never put a song on Spotify, but this is how it was explained to me. I was talking to one of my homeboys who, you know, does a little bit of work like within the industry. My dog, Jeff. Jeff was like, Cato, bro, realistically, bro, if you have a $500 laptop, not even, maybe a $300 laptop, or if you have you got a smartphone.
Okay.
If you got a smartphone, bro.
Yeah, I have a smartphone.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying this is how he was talking to me.
Oh, okay.
He was saying like, yeah, he was like, yo, I'm him talking to me.
Right.
That's how he explained it to me. He was like, yo, bro. He was like, you could dead ass put a song on Spotify in about 5 minutes if you got a 6th grade reading level. That's what he said. So that's how easy it is to put a song.
Wait, say that again. You got a what?
He said, if you got a smartphone or a decent computer, something that don't crash every 2 seconds, something that can work. He was like, hey, you have a 6th grade reading level, you dead ass could put you could put a song on Spotify. I
thought I heard 6th grade, so that's why I wanted to hear that again.
Yeah, he said, yo, bro, he said, if you have a 6th grade reading level, you could put a song on Spotify. And then I thought about it, and when he said that, I was like, yo, that's a good point because real quick, I don't know if y'all remember this. I don't know if you guys are Young Nudie / Playboy Cardi fans.
Not really, no.
Really? All right, cool. Young Nudie, Playboy Cardi, rappers. Young Nudie had a song produced by this rapper, rapper / producer / everything. The guy literally is like running like, is he on Epic or Atlantic? I don't know. I forgot what label he signed to, but Pierre is like one of like the nicest producers in the game right now. And what was he saying? They had this song. So Pierre produced the beat. And it was a song by Young Nudie and Playboy Cardi. It has a few different names, but I've heard it called Kid Cudi, and I've heard it called Pissy Pamper. Why did they choose that name? No clue. But that was the name of the song. So the song got leaked. Somehow somebody got a hold of it.
Oh, wow.
When the song got leaked, somebody said, yo, I want to share this on streaming platforms. Somebody, I don't know, I forgot who it was. Tom, I could share a video with you if you guys are interested.
Sure.
Somebody just got it. And just like, yeah, I just want to put the song on Spotify. Put the song on Spotify. The song, unreleased, went #1 on the Spotify top 50 rap hits or like top 50 rap underground hits. It went #1 on Spotify. A song that wasn't released.
What year was this?
2018, no. Hold on.
Okay.
That's fairly recent.
It was about like 2019.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
That's pretty recent, though.
Exactly, bro. It's 2 years ago. That was nothing, bro. 2 years ago.
Did the artist get compensated for that, or what happened?
Hell no. The song got DJ Mega. That's the problem with this shit, bro. That's where I was talking about. Streaming is great to make money, but yeah, it's so easy to do it now. The artist didn't get compensated at all. He didn't get paid for that. Pierre
I feel like it's easier for the consumers than it is for the artists, like as far as streaming is concerned.
Oh yeah, in some ways.
In some ways it is, because if you're hold on now, you gotta look at it like this. If you're Post Malone, if you're Taylor Swift, if you're who the real pretty girl that was on the show Victorious?
Oh yeah, Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I couldn't think of her name for a second. Shout out.
Yeah,
Ariana.
yeah. I mean, you're rolling in the money.
Yeah. If you're them, Justin Bieber, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish,
yeah,
you listening, bro. I got about 20K in student loans. I know you just made that. That's only 5% of what you made off this last album. Share something. Yeah. All I'm asking for is 5. I love you, Billy. Anyway, that's what I was saying, yo. I was looking at it and I just was like, yo, like, if you're those people, you're making a bunch of fucking money. You're making a bunch of
don't worry, man.
Part of my language, everybody. Part of my language. You're making a bunch of money if you're those people. But if you're not, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard because those people are the ones that are bringing in the streams. But as I was saying, back to my point, Pissy Pamper went m.1 on the Spotify music chart because it was that easy to put it on there. It didn't have to pass a clearance or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, the song was unreleased. And there were so many people who didn't get paid. The song, and really what blew the song up was TikTok and Instagram, because like the song's like very ambient and like very bouncy. And Playboy Cardi does like his signature like baby voice where he literally sounds like a baby. Just in case people can pick up on that. And the song was it spread like wildfire through Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. So the song probably, if it would have been released the proper way, probably would have won platinum, at least gold, maybe even double platinum. But this is the thing, because it had caught on fire on Spotify. So then the song featured a sample from a Japanese, I think it's called J-pop artist named Mei Yamene. And I forgot the name. I think the song was called Tasogare. I'll try to write it in the comments or whatever. I think it's Tasogare. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But that was the name of the song, and Playboy Cardi sampled that song. Mm-hmm. But the song, like I said, the lady, she made the song in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? She's probably older now, and it's probably real hard to get in contact with her because she's on the opposite end of the damn world. Yeah. So she didn't get compensated for her sample because that's, like I said, that was her sample. She played the instrument because it was a guitar riff or some shit like that. So she didn't get paid. Playboy Cardi didn't get paid. Young Nudie didn't get paid. Pierre Bourne didn't get paid. The engineers didn't get paid. Nobody got paid. So in a way, like I said, that kind of is going to transcend into my next point. But as far as young and up and coming artists, it's real easy to put your music on there. And now with things like TuneCore, you don't even really need a label. And I'll get into labels in a second because I got let me not say I got a personal beef with labels, because if anybody ever see this and they'll be like, oh yeah, what beef did you have with labels? But I mean, and labels are getting better. You know what I'm saying? Artists have a little bit more leverage now. But that's the thing I'm trying, like, that's the point I'm making. Like, it's so easy. If you're a young artist, literally, get this right. Listen to this.
Yeah, sure.
You take however long it take you to make a song. You write an 8-bar, 12-bar, 10-bar verse. You do a little hook. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You make a 2-minute, 3-minute song. You take that song, you take it, you record it. Literally, I have recording equipment in my living room. I mean, it probably won't be. It's not the best quality equipment, but if you get like one of them, it's like a microphone. I forgot the name of it, but it's like a $400 microphone. That thing sounds damn near as close to professional quality as you gonna get. So you don't even need that. I've seen people go in like a closet and put like the little drink holders on like the wall, put them up on the wall, and put a microphone standing there, some headphones, and make music. That's how the Migos started. Migos used to go to Murder Beats. They're one of their go-to producers. They used to go to his house, and that's how they would record, right in the closet. That's how they recorded all their early mixtapes. So that's what I'm saying. You could get professional quality in your freaking living room.
Yeah.
That is true. So you take that song, right? You record it. Once you record it, you probably pay the producer. You know what I'm saying? You could work out deals with producers. You can either just buy the beat outright. If it's a young producer, he has a hot beat, he might sell it to you for $500. If he's smart, he'll get you with a publishing deal so he can make a lot more money off of it. But that's what I'm saying. You work something out with the producer. You take it to an engineer. The engineer is fairly inexpensive to get it mixed. Once you get it mixed, then if it's a good song that you feel, real huge about, like I said, you shoot your little video to it. You can get a little music video probably shot for maybe about like $200, $300, $400, $500, depending on where you at. Once you go and you shoot the music video, all you got to do is just jump on TuneCore. TuneCore take about 5, maybe 10% of what the song totally grosses, and then bam, your song could take off. If your song gets popping on the radio, or if your song catches on social media and it becomes a big song, now you pretty much your producer and whoever else and TuneCore and maybe Spotify might take like a little small percentage. You getting all that money in. So you see, and then bam, once you do that, if your song blow up, it's all types of artists and repertoires, also known as A&Rs, all types of labels that are looking for people. They just scavenge the internet looking for people. If your song hit the right ear and the right ear sees your talent and sees your vision, if your song is big enough or whatever, you can have $100,000, $500,000, $1 million deal, $5 million deal lined up.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Tom, I just like to give a lot of details.
Yeah, sure. No, details are good. Details are what's going to help find the answer.
Streaming is a beautiful thing for young up-and-coming artists. You know how much money you can save? So literally, yo, if you make one song, let's say you pay $200 to get it mixed. Let's say the beat, you pay maybe $200 or $300 for it up front. You don't even got to pay that much. Let's say you pay $200 to get it mixed, $200 for the beat. Let's say you pay $300 for the video. So what we have? Yes, we have 7. Let's just say you paid $1,000, not even $1,000, because a lot of this stuff you can learn how to do on your own.
Yeah.
So let's just say, like I said, you probably can realistically one song, recording it, a beat, and it's all dependent on who you know. You could probably spend about $500, maybe $600, and have a music video and get it up on what's the name, on streaming services. If you got like $600, bro. And that's just a weird number. It all depends on who you know. Like me right now, if I wanted to, like when I was at Oswego, I literally could get a music video shot, everything. I probably wouldn't have to pay nothing, just off the strength that people like me. Of course, I would still pay people, because I believe if people are good at something, you don't ever pay them. You don't ever let them do it for free. That's just the type of friend I am. But literally, like when I was in Oswego, all the people I knew, and Oswego's small, all the people I knew, if I was an artist and I wanted to do a song, I probably could get a whole EP probably done for less than $500.
Yeah.
So this is the point I'm trying to make. If you take $600 and invest it into one song, depending on how you do it, depending on who you know, or even if you take $1,000, if you got a job, you could do $1,000. You know what I'm saying? I mean, depending on the situation. But if you take one song, bro, one song can change your whole life. $1,000, an investment into this music shit will change your whole life. And that's why when I be hearing these young dudes talk about they want to be rappers and everything, if they got talent. Number one, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of dudes think because they got money, and a lot of them be real street dudes, not encouraging you. But just as Southside said this, Southside is a producer, head of 81 Mafia. Just because you got money do not mean you should start rapping.
Yeah.
Some of y'all are making music in general, but rap especially. Some of you dudes think because y'all get money that makes y'all good, that y'all have something to rap about. Bro, we don't want to hear you.
Yeah.
Some of y'all are nice.
Yeah.
Some of y'all suck. But anyways, as I was saying, it all boils down to that. Like, I encourage these young artists to get out here and make music, because it's fairly inexpensive nowadays. And now, as long as you do the right things as far as marketing yourself and getting a video shot, your whole life could change. And there's so much money to be made in this industry aside from just being an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is really probably one of the fastest growing, most rapid industries. Probably top 5, top 10, easy. So that's the point that I'm just trying to make with everybody. So I gave you my stance on streaming. I gave you my stance on how it can help young artists. I think it's great for young artists. Young artists get a Spotify account. They can go ahead and they can upload their whole EP. Jason, the vice president,
Yeah.
Jason uploaded a whole EP.
Wow.
Jason paid $20 to get some like promotional photos taken. He paid about maybe $200 to get $200 to get a video taken, or get a video shot rather. And the studio that they did it in was they did it in a college dorm room, and the studio at Oswego, which was for free. And they put a whole 6-track EP on Spotify.
Wow.
So that's the point that I'll be trying to make. Like, it's great for young artists, for real. And then I forgot what else you asked me. You said how it established artists. No.
Yeah, well, because like I heard a story, and I actually just researched it very quick because I wanted to get the name right. Because I remember in 2013, Aloe Black, like he wrote, like he had a song, like the #1 song in 2013.
Yep.
And it was like one of the biggest things on Spotify, but he like made like barely any money on it.
Really?
And yeah, and like there was a story I heard is that the artists that do make so much money are like the ones that we talked about, like the Ed Sheerans, the the Lady Gagas or Taylor Swift,
the big ones. That's the right.
Yeah, the big ones and all that. And what it is if you have like $10, and this probably goes for like every streaming service, but they were focusing mainly on Spotify. That like your $8 goes to Spotify, and $2 of your dollars goes to the artist you listen to. Now, what the money that Spotify or the other streaming services do is they put their money in a piece of pie and put it on the artists that are already successful and all that. So from what I got from that is like, it's sort of like outrageous in the sense that these artists like are making money off of what maybe like a person who might not even be you might not be into like pop stuff and all that stuff, yet you are paying them still. And like these people are getting money from music that you may not be like, you may not even be listening to them, and they're still getting, they're getting their money.
And you make a great point, Tom. You know what I'm saying? I can't. What's going on?
What?
The name? No, I just like to shout out the people who comment because I feel like it adds to like the conversation.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know if his name is Jordan.
I don't know if his or her.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know who
you'll show the comments on the channel.
Yeah,
that's
shout out to them. I don't know if your name is Trey or Jordan, but shout out to you. But as I was saying, not Tom, exactly, and that's the way the game works. And like I said, but Tom, you as an artist, unless you sell like Mariah Carey, unless you sell like Michael Jackson, you ain't even make no money off of no albums. Like albums will get you a nice little check. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll probably be able to pay your mortgage and stuff like that with your albums. You know what I'm saying? Even the biggest artists. But you want to know how the biggest artists make their money?
Basically from like branding, I'm guessing, like from clothing line, right?
It's usually stuff outside of music.
Because the only reason why I say this is because like with Rihanna, like she just became a billionaire, and the article wasn't because of music.
Not at all.
No, you have to have other avenues nowadays. You can't just live off the music. You really can't do that anymore.
You guys are both on the right track. You guys both said it. Merchandising, selling clothes. Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Shout out to Travis Scott. I ain't never seen nobody finesse people like this. Travis Scott was selling T-shirts for his for Astro World. I think the resale value on them things, just because it's him and because of his crazy fan base. I seen a shirt with a big ass hole in the shoulder.
Yeah.
With a big ass fat ass hole in the shoulder. Whole blade out. I seen Travis Scott sell a shirt. Like that, the resale value on that shirt, I seen people bidding up to like $150. I'd be damned if I buy a shirt that got a hole in it, a big ass hole at that for $150.
Yeah,
I'd be damned. But that's what I'm saying. Merchant, what's going on, Kevin?
Kevin. Hey. He's actually a childhood friend. Hey, Kevin, what's going on, man?
Kevin, what's going on,
Thanks
bro?
for supporting, man.
So, most certainly, bro. You got to support my boy Tom, my boy DJ Mega. But where was I going with this? But yeah, merchandising is how you make your money. Shows is how you make. Just keeping it on music real quick. Shows is how you make your money.
Yeah.
Shows are how you make your money when it comes to this. When it comes to this music game, because like when you look at it, like Nicki Minaj at one point, I'll use her.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj was getting $500,000 a show.
Yeah.
$500,000 to go up there for about 45 minutes to an hour 15. Bro. Think about it like this, right? And they do all types of cities. So get this, right?
Yeah.
If Nicki was making $500,000 a show, bro. Hold on, bro. Let's do a little bit of math. I'm not the best at it. So Nicki was making $500,000 a show.
Yeah.
Let's say she did, most of the time the tours are going to be about 30 cities, and she probably did overseas, probably somewhere like 30 to like 50. Let's just say, let's lowball. Let's say Nicki was like, I only want to do 20. We'll just do 20 cities. In America. We ain't doing no overseas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nicki made $10 million.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Nicki, after the label get through probably taking their portion and she pay all the people that got to be paid and her taxes and shit like that, Nicki probably seen maybe about anywhere between she probably seen like 5 or 6 mil off of that. That's how you eat in this rap game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some of the records, it'll do it, but you get your money through touring. Like I remember, especially if you're independent, like it was this guy named it's this rapper that I follow. Love him. He's part of the founder of PRE, Young Dolph. When Young Dolph, the last tour I remember he went on was the No Rules tour. It was him and Key Glock, and they were promoting their album Dumb and Dumber. Yo, their tour was like, thank you, Kevin. That is a lot of damn money. Their tour was like 45 cities, bro. That's how long their tour was because they're independent. So they got to go to all them cities because they don't have no label deal. So they're not going to get that upfront check. So that's what I'm saying. Nicki probably seen about $5-6 million of that money.
Yeah.
You got artists like Drake. Drake probably getting about $400,000 or $500,000 a show. I mean, guys like Roddy Ricch. Like Roddy Ricch is a newer guy. He's established, but Roddy Ricch is probably getting about $100,000 a show. Moneybagg Yo is getting $100,000 a show. Taylor Swift probably get damn near $1 million.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, all those people. Nicki probably is up there too. They probably, you probably, if you call a phone with anything less than 400,000, they gonna laugh at you.
But even the old time artists that are still performing, like the Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, and Elton John, I mean, they
probably getting about $100,000 a show.
I mean, from what I heard, like Paul McCartney is like, I don't know if it's changed at all, but like I think he's like the richest musician out there. I think.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Now, pardon me, y'all, because my music knowledge in other areas is a little rough. So, y'all, please don't bash me in the comments. Paul McCartney, part of the Beatles?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a huge Beatles fan, so I don't know. I'll let it pass, because you're a cool guy, man. I'm not gonna roast you on air. So.
Oh man, bro, they would have drugged me, bro. I would have been a meme.
They would have. If there was more people on, no, you could have gotten
it. It was of course I know John Lennon, Paul McCartney. Was it Ringo?
Cancel. Well, my friend Jordan. Yeah, Ringo. George just made a joke. Canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Ringo, and then I forgot the other person.
Yeah.
Who was the other member of the Beatles?
Oh, George Harrison.
Something, right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna listen. I mean, of course.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people watching.
Well, no, I mean, the thing I think I get it is like that, like, no, just for me, I think that everybody knows like John Paul, George, Ringo as the Beatles and all that. But I get it, like how it's like George, like if George is the one that you forget, I'm not surprised in some ways because it's like, I mean, like George, honestly, I mean, listen, Ringo was good too. Nothing wrong with that. But like, Ringo was always kind of known as like the, like kind of like sometimes he got the butt of the jokes and kind of like that. And, he wasn't as established as a songwriter as Lennon and McCartney. And of course, even Harrison over the years too. George, I don't think gets as much credit because as a solo artist, I think he's just as good as what John Lennon and Paul McCartney did after. I mean, George was great in the Beatles. And I mean, the Beatles are like my favorite band on like the whole entire world. I mean, I've been a fan of them since I was like, I can't even remember how young.
Not a bad choice.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm a huge Beatles fan. And, but like, I think in some ways, it was better that George left the group in order to do his own stuff, and have his own, like All Things Must Pass is even, I think, considered like the best post-Beatles album out of all of them. And it was the first, I believe the song My Sweet Lord was the first #1 hit like somebody from the Beatles got after, the band. Because the band broke up in 1970 and All Things Must Pass came out at the end of 1970. They all released a solo album around that time because Let It Be, even though it was recorded a year earlier before Abbey Road was released before Let It Be was recorded before that, but they didn't really record it, like produce it and work more on it, and it wasn't released until like May of 1970. But yeah, that's my facts for like the Beatles of that way. But like, yeah, of going back to what you're saying, like with shows, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, with the big artists too, that's like how, they make their money, and especially like the new artists. I mean, these people are, living off, they're in the money,
Exactly. That's why when you said like artists like don't really make a whole lot of money off of streaming, and I'm like, yeah, they don't, but the game ain't designed that way.
Yeah,
but I was gonna say,
go ahead. My fault, DJ Mega.
No, I was gonna say this with streaming because Tom and I, we actually did like a Remember that versus thing we did like in
Yeah,
class?
yeah.
Because So one of the things I've noticed, like with streaming, like even if you buy the music legally, the way it's set up
After
is
artist.
kind of problematic because the albums when it's on streaming is set up as individual songs, and they're usually like 99 cents, so it's like $1.
Yeah.
Before streaming came along, even if you just wanted like one song, or usually people try to buy an album for the single, you have to buy the whole album just to get to that single or that song, that particular song you want to get to.
Exactly.
But with streaming, you don't have to do that now. You can just buy that particular song and be done with it.
Well, like I said, just get that subscription and hit play. So that's what I'm saying, DJ Mega. You know what I'm saying? You made up the point that I was talking about as far as like singles now. Like realistically, matter of fact, I'll get to this in a second, but I did just want to finish up my thing about streaming. But overall, about how you make money in the industry, I'm gonna jump back to what I was ready to say. But realistically, like you make money off your merchandising, you make money off of your sponsorships, and being your television appearances, and you make money off shows. That's how you make money here in the rap game. And then if you're smart, you'll invest.
Yeah,
because you already make a whole lot of damn money. You know what I'm saying, bro? If you're smart, shit. I mean, as far as artists, this ain't. Artists already know this, but just in case I'm sure it's a lot of talented people here. You can make a lot of money off the music industry one day. Bro, go buy you an 18-wheeler and go find somebody to drive it. Offer to pay him $75,000, $80,000 a year. Go offer him to drive it. Go and get somebody to book loads. I mean, obviously it's not that simple. It's a lot of different things you got to go do, but there's just so many ways to get here in this rap game. But we've seen artists make it to the top and have all types of bread and then be broke.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing that you want to do, like J. Cole said it in a song, off of KOD. I forgot the name of the song. He said, I got some advice. He said, never quit touring, because he was like, that's how we eat here in this rap game. And he right. That's how you eat in the rap game, bro. You don't make no money off no album. Unless you sell 2, 3, 4, 5 million. You ain't making no money off no albums, bro. You making money off your shows and off your merchandising. That's what you're doing. That's why artists don't get no sleep. Every new night you in a different city. And then, as soon as you get through with creating an album, promoting an album, going on tour, depending on your contract, you might have maybe a little grace period of maybe 3 or 4 months. And then after that, you right back to making an album. Yeah.
Yeah, that brings me to another thing too. See, I've told Tom this as well. Like what we have now when it comes to albums, because he's talking about how the art of the album is pretty much dead now. And what you have essentially is what I like to call playlist albums, which is just a bunch of random songs.
Yeah.
And
it's like going back to the old days.
Yeah. They don't really have any real connection to each other. It's just a bunch of basically singles.
My fault, DJ Mega. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also it seems like the amount of songs in the album seem like it's doubled now. Because I know with Drake Kid, I forgot what the album was, but it was a bunch of songs on that one. I think it was the one he released in 2018.
Scorpion?
Yeah.
That's probably what you're talking about. You either talk about Scorpion or you might be talking about More Life.
I mean, it's probably that one too, but it might have been both of them, because I know from that point forward, that's how he started releasing his music. And there was a few other people that was doing that as well. Just, having this huge album list. But it makes sense, because the other issue too is that so many, because of technology right now and everything's so readily available, everybody's just going through stuff so quickly, and a lot of people have a small attention span now, so you have to keep releasing music, double the amount.
Yeah, nah. I mean, like I said, DJ Mega, you speaking some real DJ Mega, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But real quick, I see we got comments. Trey Lee.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that.
Let's see. We're getting to her.
Streaming definitely made buying songs from your favorite artist easier. Most certainly, I said that. Streaming definitely opened that up. Because you're not ever gonna like every song of an artist. Yeah. You might not like every song of an artist, but there are albums where I pretty much like every song. Few, but there's a couple albums like that, like Daytona by Pusha T. I like every song. Pop Smoke's Meet the Woo 2. I like every song. There's a few more. I think it's Mariah. Is it Songbox or Music Box by Mariah Carey? I could pretty much listen to every song. It's a couple, but I overall get his point. So buy the whole album just for what songs I rate. Yo, I never forget it. Jay-Z had this real good song. He had a few good songs on this one album, but like I really wanted to hear the song. I just loved the song for some reason. And looking back on it, I don't like it as much as I used to for some reason. But it was called Lost One with Chrisette Michele, off of his probably Jay-Z's worst album called Kingdom Come. And of course it was platinum because he's Jay-Z. But I never forget it. I was like, Ma, I want to hear this song. Ma, I want to hear this song. She was like, yo, just buy the album. I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, so $10 was a lot of money to me. Yo, then I sat back and I thought about it, and I bought the album like not an idiot, but like as a kid. And I was like, yo, I don't like this album. I just literally paid $10 for a song.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sorry to bring up another story, but
No.
Salute the trade for making that mention, because like that is outrageous, and I've done that. I've spent $10 to buy an album that had one song that I don't like that anymore.
And I'm sure there's like I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
Okay. No, I'm sure that there's like an album that like we've wanted to listen to, and we thought it was gonna give us this, like we were gonna love it, and then turns out we didn't. You know?
Yeah, that happened with me with Eminem's.
Yeah.
What was I think it was Relapse when he came back off his like hiatus.
Relapse, yeah.
Well, another artist that I love, that I got more into, honestly, only 2 years ago, and now they're like one of my favorite artists of all time, is The Police. I mean, like their stuff like from the late 70s, like, and like because they were only together for like, you know, like 5-6 years, and they only came out with 5 albums. Yet their albums are great and all that. And mostly, I mean, of course, you know, not every song is great, and of course there are some songs I can live without. But when Sting though became like a solo artist, like a lot of his albums are not good as a whole. I mean, not that there are some songs that he has that are good, like singles, like If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free, We'll Be Together, you know, All This Time, like that stuff is good. But like the albums, like for instance, like the one that has If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free, that's like starts the album, and then the rest is just like mellow, and like you really can't, like, you know, I couldn't vibe with any of them. I couldn't hum any of those tunes after.
I feel that, yeah. And you know what? Sometimes there are just artists who don't make good albums. Like, for example, an artist I absolutely love. His name is Jadakiss. He's a rapper from Yonkers.
Yeah.
Love Jadakiss. Love Jadakiss. Jadakiss got bars. Jadakiss has been rapping for 20 years, and, like, you rarely ever will hear a bad verse, if ever. Like, he is one of those people who is always in his prime.
He was in the Locks, right?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah, because I mentioned that because, you know, they just had that versus.
That versus was hilarious, bro. I absolutely love that versus. That was the best versus I've seen just from a pure entertainment standpoint. Like, people from New York City, from the 5 boroughs, yo, just funny. I absolutely love that versus. Matter of fact, I'm finna rewatch it if I got the time. But anyways, as I was saying, like, Jadakiss is one of those rappers for me. Love Jadakiss. Hard freestyles, great mixtapes. But his albums, they're at best. You feel what I'm saying? Like, very rarely. His first album, I think it got about 16 songs. I think I might like about 10. That's solid. But then his other albums, it's just like, you know, only end up like a half the songs. So some artists just aren't good at making, not to say Jadakiss isn't good at making albums, because I'm only one opinion. But, you know, some artists just aren't really all that great at really making albums. Some artists are a little bit better at doing EPs or, you know, whatever have it. But, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's an album artist. Like, I'm trying to think of maybe a better example. Like, Jadakiss is an example. I'm trying to think of a more broad example of somebody who, like, you know what? I'll use this. Soulja Boy.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Soulja Boy is excellent making a single. Soulja Boy albums suck.
Yeah.
He is a perfect.
You know what, bro? But respect the Soulja Boy, because them albums go platinum off of how big those singles are.
Yeah.
But his albums aren't that good.
Yeah.
Like, he might have some catchy stuff or something here and there, but his albums aren't that good. His first album wasn't good. His second album wasn't good. His third album was even worse. But the singles was fire though. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I'm a Soulja Boy fan. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like Soulja Boy. I like his singles. I would never, ever, ever sit up and listen to a Soulja Boy album. I'd be damned.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I'd rather ride in silence. I hope let me not drag Soldier like that.
Yeah. Well, I've heard. Yeah,
he just doesn't make good albums, but he makes phenomenal singles. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Some artists are like that, and you know, you just got to know what kind of artist you are. Like for example, you got Drake. Drake made good albums and great singles. Ariana Grande, great singles and great albums. Then you got guys like Jadakiss, great singles and albums. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, not every artist. Like for example, in the Locks, that the group that Jadakiss is a part of, Styles P makes the best albums out of all them. Styles P albums are way better than Jadakiss albums. But Jadakiss is the better rapper.
Right.
But if you had to ask me, like, yo, bro, pick an album to like an artist I'm gonna listen to, I'm going Styles P in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much. I just wanted to just bring up that point. Like, you know, I don't want artists to be discouraged. Like, if there's any artists out here watching, like, oh, like, man, like, I don't really feel all that confident in my albums, whatever. Focus on them singles, bro. If you make 2 or 3 fire singles, bro, your album could go gold. You can eat off that. But also, what is it? Trey Lipa. I don't know how to say it, so forgive me.
Oh yeah. Here, let me see if there's more.
It's hard
which one?
Okay.
I got it. Yeah.
I was reading this one. It's hard to stay at the top of the charts. Thank you. I can see a little bit better. It's hard to stay at the top of the charts for more than a year at least. There's usually a new big song every month or so. It stays on the charts for like a month and then it drops. Yeah, but that's all. You know, Trey makes a great point, but that's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
So, bro, new music comes out every day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot harder to do that now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? New music comes out every day, but I was like, you know, that's just the nature of the game. That's why, like, when we look at like Old Town Road, staying top of the charts for what was it, 18 consecutive weeks? It was #1.
Yeah.
TikTok helped that song, I think, out a lot. I think.
Well, there was also some other stuff too, because people were purposely trying to get that song to #1 at one point. TikTok, Old Town Road.
Well, I guess you could call that Billy Ray Cyrus's second hit. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, bro? Like Old Town Road, like has a Billy Ray Cyrus literally was one of the biggest artists in music a couple years ago, and for 20 years of being obscure.
Yeah, exactly. He only had like one big hit. Yeah, he only had one big hit, and then and you know, his daughter, of course, you know, became one of the biggest stars of, you know, this generation, all that.
Yeah, but he had the benefit of that too, so he was able to stay like in a public.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was behind management. I don't know if he wrote all the songs that she did in Hannah Montana, but I know he was, you know, creatively involved and all that, and I think but like, well, no, I mean, I think the thing too, though, is in some ways is that attention spans are low, and I think as time goes on, attention spans get lower for people, like especially now. And I think the thing is, a great example is a band that told me this is I interviewed them a few months ago. I don't know if you saw it. They're good. They're a great band. They're on Long Island. Definitely check them out. Called Evil Sweet. I went to actually high school with them. They were actually a few years older than me. So they explained that, like, you know, for them, they release like these EPs, you know, which is like, you know, like just like basically like 4 songs on it, because they feel that, you know, they like, you know, they have ideas for albums, but, you know, it's really hard to get people to listen to your music, but let alone, you know, 40 minutes of an album, you know.
Yeah, because people's attention spans are short, like y'all said.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't listen to whole albums anymore like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this too. I don't listen to as much albums. Like, I've been a victim. I've been guilty of that too, you know, of like, and I've been trying to get more into that. And over the 2 years, I've been trying to get more into that. And I have, like, in some ways too, of like, you know, as much as, because I feel like the artists that I love, I felt like I was loving more of the singles, but I'm like, wait, you know, the singles are great, but I also want to know the album tracks too. You know, I'm into all of that. You know, if I'm into music, I want to know all this, because I want to know the independent stuff. And like, you know, now most of my taste, like on my playlist, are songs that are not like singles anymore either, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. I respect that. But overall, Tom, like, I guess like where I'm really going with it is just like, you know, and I'm actually glad to be talking about singles versus albums, because I was going to segue into this.
Sure.
If you want to stay on track. Like, you know, if we looking at, I'm sorry, I'm still reading some of these comments and we forget about the song.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you know what? But at the same time too, these songs can also, like what Trey's talking about, it's some songs that are still on the charts after years. Like it's some albums, depending on
how
like,
I think Queen's music start on
there's a few artists that talk about,
like, I don't know for certain, but I know Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar's second album.
Okay.
That album, I don't know if it's still on the charts now. It might be. But a year and a half ago, I seen something on the internet. Remember, I came out in 2012, so a year and a half ago was 2020, 2019. It was on the Billboard Top 200 Albums chart for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Post Malone's Beer Bongs and Bentley's album, I think is still on the Billboard Top 200.
And when did that come out?
2018. So
2018. Okay, yeah, so that's about 3
yeah, that's 3 years. I'm sure Ariana Grande's albums are probably still on. You know,
I think I heard that Dark Side of the Moon dominated like one of the charts as number 1 for like 25 years or something like that. I heard something. I don't know the whole quote
that's
on
Pink
that.
Floyd, right?
Yeah, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, that to me makes sense because that album. No, hold on. No, I just read your comment. Hold on. You said 25? God damn.
I think I don't know. Here, let me check.
That makes sense though because that album has sold like 30, 40, 50 million copies.
I don't know that quote for quote. I'm gonna try to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because like, and I've heard like too of like albums that are like the best selling. Like, you want to know like what I found out? I don't know if it's still the case now. If somebody broke the record, but 3 or 4 years ago, I found out that Elton John's song "Candle in the Wind," the one that he did for Princess Diana when she died, that is the second best selling single, and the number 1 is still technically Bing Crosby's "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas." Like. But "Candle in the Wind," the Princess Diana version, England Rose, that is the second best song. I mean, I don't know if that's beat. Now it's like, because there's like, I remember hearing like a few years ago, like Mariah Carey broke a record that the Beatles had, and Drake too. I mean, I remember there was this thing that Drake apparently did this kind of like tattoo that he put of the Abbey Road, and then him like right like in front of them like giving a wave. And I know a lot of people thought it was egotistical, and somebody's a Beatles fan. I wasn't totally like fond of it,
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, overall, like I said, I mean, some music is just timeless, and realistically, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from making music or making the best music that they can, but I mean, it's just different talent levels to this. Rarely are you going to have a songs like that, and I mean, even when you look at songs like that, they're a little bit more like holiday songs. If you have a holiday song that catches on and it gets popular, like for example, like what?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I found the a fact or something with Pink Floyd. So Pink Floyd's evergreen album, Dark Side of the Moon, continues to hold the record by far for the most charted weeks on the Billboard 200, 917. The set, which was released in 1973 and spent a week at number 1, continued to chart on a mostly regular basis through 1988. So, but yes. Yeah, so 15 years. Okay, so I was wrong about that.
That is absurd. But like I said, bro, music like that's hard to make, and it takes a certain level of talent to do that. And I was gonna say too, like some of those songs that we look at that are like big songs, a lot of them, like the Mariah Carey Christmas song. When you look at that song, think about it. Most music is made just in the time that it's made.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey was one of the biggest stars in music at the time. She made a great Christmas song, and it's Christmas. So what does Christmas do? Happens year after year after year.
Yeah.
After year after year after year.
No, that's actually smart.
So that's a genius thing that Mariah Carey realistically probably make about $100,000 off that song between October to like January. She probably makes she probably makes about $100,000. She probably makes about $100,000 off of that song. Probably even more with the way streaming is, and that's my point, bro. Like, it's certain ways to market music. Like, like you look at most songs. Like I said, most songs are written from the time that they're in it, and bam, Christmas always come around. Or if you look at sad songs and stuff like that, like They'll Last or like heartfelt stuff. So it's really just about the type of music you make. But I want to just talk about albums real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We mentioned it. And this is the thing with me. And, I remember, it got me to thinking overall about the industry. If people can only stream one song at a time, selling singles also helps to sell your album. Selling singles can count towards your album. For example, I know you guys are probably thinking, wait, a single and an album are two very different things. I'll break it down like this. Life is Good by Drake and Future that came out a couple years ago.
Okay.
That song, 24 hours before Future released that album that it was on, the name of the album was called High Off Life. That song had already done so well that it streamed, like the album had already, like the equivalent units, however they did the metric system or whatever. 24 hours before the album was even released, it sold 500,000. It was gold before it even came out off of one song.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Post
Yeah,
Malone's
yeah.
album, I think, was like that. I think Post Malone's Beer Bongs and Bentleys, just based off of the way people streamed Rockstar and what's that song he got with Ty Dolla $ign? Psycho. Psycho and Rockstar, I think, are both Diamond, if I'm not mistaken. I think they $1 million. Post Malone went platinum in like 2 or 3 days just based off of those 2 singles streaming, like the way everybody was streaming it. So getting back to my point, the way I look at the game now, my fault, y'all. I'm checking my phone because
no, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm checking my phone because I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Yesterday was my birthday and shit. So
happy birthday, man. Oh, yeah.
Oh, appreciate that, bro. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, DJ Mega. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still answering messages. But you know, I'm thankful. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Because
this is our birthday present for you, being on the show, I guess.
My man, bro. That's why when you said Wednesday, I'm like, nah, Tom. Like, people gonna be calling the hell out of me on Wednesday. But I'm not the type of person to go around telling everybody it's my birthday. It's
right. I get that.
Appreciate it nonetheless. But anyways, back to what I was saying. It's just like this. Appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you so much, man, guy. Thank you. What I was saying about albums is like this, right? When you got when you got streaming, and streaming is the dominant way you make music, and streaming is pretty much you can only stream one song. Streaming is pretty much meant to sell singles, and then you've coupled that with the fact that people don't want to listen to albums anymore. Artists are pretty much tired of making long albums. Most albums now, some artists drop 12, 13 songs and call it an album, which I think is long enough. I think anything in the double digits is considered album worthy. Right. But artists are tired of making albums. Artists are tired of making albums. Streaming requires you to sell a lot of singles. People don't really want to hear albums anymore.
Yeah.
And like I said, just how streaming has just opened up like the platform so much, the way I sit back and think about it, in a minute, or probably very soon, how long are albums even going to be a thing?
Yeah.
Like, y'all think about that real quick. Like, y'all really, really think about that.
I see what you're saying now.
People are tired of listening to albums.
Yeah.
Artists are probably sick of making them because making an album, you know how long that shit take? Because
it does.
Album, realistically, you probably record about 30 or 40 songs and you choose the best 15.
Yeah. Well,
I think go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, to add on what you're saying very quickly, is that, like, especially nowadays with songs like, a song like Uptown Funk, I mean, that song took, like, over a year to make. And, like, especially I feel like the stuff now, this isn't so much a rip on it. I mean, it's a little, of a rip on the 2010s and stuff like that. But I feel like with that nowadays, there are music that like a lot of producers have to make like one song. It takes like, I feel like sometimes it takes longer to make a song than like, somebody in the, like it takes as long to make a song now as it did someone like back in the 60s to make an album in some ways, like for instance, like if somebody like makes it a song and like, cause I'm guessing somebody's made a song in like 11 hours. The Beatles made Please Please Me. They made that like all in 11 hours. That was done in like, I believe that basically. What?
No, you continue.
Well, yeah, but not just that too. It's like, and also too, music artists, I think nowadays are a little bit more, have a little bit more of a luxury of releasing one album a year. In the 60s, with the contracts that they had, like from groups like the Beatles, Elton John had this, Creedence Clearwater Revival, I think Grateful Dead had it, where the record label wants you to release like as many albums as you can a year.
Yeah,
so that's why
like a lot of those guys.
Yeah, Beatles had 2 studio albums a year. Same with Elton John. Yeah.
So you got to make 2 albums. You got to think of the shit to say. You got to record them. You got to go on tour. You got to perform. Like, I try to tell artists now, bro. Like, yeah, you guys are busy.
Wait, talking about that. Like, what's Was that for like their earlier music?
That was for the earlier. And also an interesting thing and an interesting accomplishment, I think, for music is that Creedence Clearwater Revival released 3 albums in 1969, and they were all great albums. Now, there are albums that are like, for instance, the Beach Boys, I think, rated 3 albums, but the problem with that is it was like a knockoff, and there was like, you know, songs from both albums, so that doesn't really count. Creedence Clearwater Revival released 3 albums in 1969 that had different songs. Each were a hit. They were, you know, I mean, yeah, of course they were like the 2-minute type songs, so that was maybe what was easier too. They weren't like long at all, you know, they were short and simple and all that.
Yeah, but I was thinking more like the more like the bigger albums, like something like Dark Side of the Moon. Like those albums took a lot longer. Those usually took like 2 or 3.
That definitely took a long time.
Like those like big,
I'm not knocking off that. The album process in some ways is not like, especially when you're making a creation, that's definitely the same as it takes now a lot of people in the 2010s and stuff like that.
I was gonna say I think albums these days is a lot quicker to come out because I've seen artists release more than one album. I think Ariana Grande, didn't she release like 2 albums a year?
Yeah, I know Ariana, she releases albums fairly consistently.
Yeah, well, like about
like
6 months or maybe a year. I don't know.
Yeah, because like what a lot of people consider like her 2 best albums, they released like in the same year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, COVID helped a lot with that too, you know.
Yeah.
COVID had a lot of artists did surprise albums like Taylor Swift, Paul McCartney. I think there was a few others because, you know, like everybody was locked up. Nobody had anything to do really. So, you know.
Yeah, that's why I say like artists back in the 60s and 70s, bro, like I can see why they had so many drug problems and stuff like that. Like the pressure to 2 albums in a year, 3 albums in a year, I'd be damned, bro.
It was either
you gotta think of this shit. You gotta write this shit. You gotta think of it, write it, record it. I mean, back then people was playing instruments, go on tour, all types of stuff. And you know,
but that's the other thing too. Is like playing an instrument takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the other thing I would say like was kind of making music a lot easier these days is that you can just do that stuff like on the computer. Like you even have like apps.
Drum machines in the 80s, of course.
Yeah.
Good example.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you even have apps these days that basically make the music for you. You just click on it and it's just, or you either just drag and drop it. It's a lot easier to make music these days. Like it's almost mindless in a sense. Like
I can see that.
It's like the music, like the way like some of the music process is almost like it's on autopilot.
Yeah, like you know, I try to tell people like the term artist gets thrown around. Well, hold on. I'll get to that in a second, but just to make sure that I make this point, the term artist gets thrown around way too loosely. Like when people be calling it rappers, like artists, I'd be like, nah. Drake might be an artist. Kendrick Lamar might be an artist. J. Cole might be an artist. But a lot of these other dudes, rappers.
Yeah.
These dudes come, they put their headphones on, they record, and then they chill.
Yeah, but I don't even like calling some of these guys rappers because a lot of these, like, you know, no offense to most of these guys if they do ever catch this, but a lot of them can't rap. Although some of them not really hide it, some even like.
Yeah, I mean, some people came out and said like, yeah, like the music I make is trash. So you know, I mean, hey, you know, DJ Mega, you know, you might be on to something, but you know, I'm a fan of a lot of rappers, so I don't really know. But just getting back to the point I was talking about with albums, and then like I said, I can segue. You could talk about the artist thing in a second, but like,
yeah.
That's where I feel like the music industry is headed into a real big, I don't want to say problem, but potential problem. Because like I said, artists probably don't really enjoy making albums because it takes so much work. Labels, I mean, streaming has made it based upon y'all how many singles you could sell.
Yeah.
It's pretty much made selling albums singles based. People don't want to listen to albums. Like, I listen to albums and my homeboys be looking at me like, bro, you really sit here and listen to this whole thing? I'm like, yeah, bro, what the hell are you talking about? Somebody sat down and recorded 30, 40 songs and it's an artist that I like. And, you know what I'm saying, only 15 made the cut. You goddamn right. I'm finna listen to this whole damn thing. So, you know, that's just the way. And so then I was just thinking about it to myself, like, yo, artists don't want to make them no more. Labels want to make money. Streaming means that you have to sell a lot of singles in order to make money, for the most part. People don't listen to albums anymore. So in a minute, are albums even going to be a thing?
Yeah.
And then if albums aren't a thing, how are labels going to start doing deals? Because deals are pretty much done based off of how many albums you sell in a period of time.
Right.
So just for everybody watching, if you could come up with an answer for this or something like that, you could have a $1 trillion proposal. If there's any analytical people in here who study numbers or however the hell things go. So that's something to think about. I'm personally trying to think about it myself, but the likelihood that I'll probably figure it out probably is kind of slim. So, if there's anybody else in here that I could give $1 trillion, what I like to think is $1 trillion idea. Hey, if you come up with it, just don't forget Timothy Cato, bro. You can come find me. Just break me off a little something,
Yeah.
Just break, just a little bit,
Yeah.
But anyway, as I was saying, so that's, I feel like my biggest, I don't want to say fear, but that's my biggest thing with the industry. Like, albums are running out. People aren't making those anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, people not really, and now, I see, like, this in a lot, like, within the hip-hop industry, a lot of people are starting to make deluxe albums. I think that's probably to help their actual album sell, because if you make a deluxe, it'll help it shoot back up the charts.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, even then, like, I'm like, that's a lot of work. And I was like, those deluxe albums only do but so much. They only get your album back kind of popular, maybe for like a month.
What do you mean by like deluxe album?
Real quick, DJ Mega, just because I don't know where rappers, call out some names.
Shit, I can't even think right now.
No, just call them.
I guess like Tyler the Creator.
Okay, he doesn't have a deluxe album, but well, I'll use an example. I'll use him an example. Yeah. So his last, not his last album, even though that album was phenomenal. We'll say Igor.
Okay.
We'll say Igor. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll say Igor. I like Igor. My personal favorite is Flower Boy, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
That's your personal favorite too?
I haven't really listened to enough of his albums, but I know a lot of people that say that's his best album.
That's my personal favorite. His best is probably Igor, but that's my personal favorite is Flower Boy. But
yeah, but I was saying that's a lot of people's favorite too.
So with a deluxe album, let's say Tyler the Creator dropped an album, and let's say he dropped Igor. So when he dropped Igor, he then released another. What's it called? He then released another. So he dropped Igor. Igor shot up the charts. It did what it did. Then maybe a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, however long later, he came out with Igor Deluxe. So pretty much Igor Deluxe can pretty much probably feature anywhere between another 3 to maybe 5 songs that were additionally added on. That's what a deluxe album is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah, so you drop an album, let's say it has 16 songs.
Yeah.
You let it get popular, you let it sell, and then right when it starts to drop down the charts, boom, you drop a deluxe album, it shoots back up because people are like, oh, it's 5 new songs.
Right. It's basically like DLC like in a video game.
Yeah. That's
it's almost like their way of doing like double albums, like how like there was like in the 60s and 70s like a big deal with the White Album. It was a double album. It was two, it was 4 sides instead of 2 sides on a vinyl record. Same with like Blonde on Blonde or Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. That's kind of almost like what you've seen, and even with artists when there's an anniversary, they'll put a deluxe of like bonus tracks and stuff like that.
I think Outkast
and helps with that,
Yeah, Outkast has a double album as well. Speaker Box The Love Below that actually went diamond.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I think like out of the 7 or 8 albums that have gone diamond in hip hop, I think like half of them have been double albums. But anyways, but you guys like your DLC connection and what you just said, Tom, you guys kind of have the right idea about it. But yeah, that's overall pretty much what I want to talk about as far as with albums. Now talking about artists and rappers.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
All right.
Because like artists and like not necessarily just rappers, but like artists and singers, artists and rappers. Like there's a difference. Like for example, like I consider Tyler the Creator. He's an artist. Is he a rapper? Yes, because he raps. Even though Tyler the Creator can sing and do all other types of shit, but I consider him more of an artist because Tyler the Creator produces, he plays piano, he does all types of shit musically. He's not just in the booth rapping, he's also making the music, because producers are the real art. Like every single producer, rather they do rock, rap, whatever, is the real artist.
Yeah, of course.
So if you just come in and you just either write lyrics and sing, or if you just either write lyrics and rap or whatever you do, if you ain't really playing no instrument, you ain't really doing no producing, you're either a rapper, a singer, whatever, but you're not an artist. Artists make music.
I agree with that.
That's pretty much how I look at it. So I'm gonna use rappers first, and then I'll probably try to jump into some other stuff. So Drake is the only one of the very few people that I'll give a pass because I don't know if Drake can produce his own music.
Well,
I'll give Drake a pass because Drake can play with so many different styles. Drake can rap gangster shit. Drake can rap sing-song shit. Then Drake will full out sing. And then he'll get on something that's Afro beats. Then he'll get on something that sounds like it's straight out of Jamaica. I don't know if Drake produces, but I'll give Drake his credit, and I'll consider Drake an artist because Drake can do so many things as far as just with his vocal ability alone.
I was going to say this, like the show he was on, Degrassi.
Yeah.
I didn't
actually know that until 2 years ago.
Yeah, he did like a fake band thing where he was kind of trying to play the guitar. I don't know if he actually was playing it, but like if he was, I guess you can use that as a consolation.
Yeah, like I said, if Drake, if Drake produces his music, then he's really an artist. But even then, like I said, Drake can sing, he can rap, sing, he can go. He has beats from London drill to like R&B based beats to straight up to straight up like Afro beat. Like Drake,
so that's actually been one of the big reasons why he's so successful too, is because he's versatile. Like another artist I throw in there as well, like that's in that camp, or at least two, would be like Nicki Minaj and maybe even Lil Wayne.
I would consider them more rappers just because, they're versatile. But like I said, Lil Wayne did a rock album, but it wasn't.
I know it wasn't good. Like, no, but I was saying like Nicki Minaj just does some interesting stuff. Like for example, that one. Well, I can't remember the name of the song.
Nicki can do a lot, as I know Nicki had a song with I think his name was Egyptian. She had a song with him, and he is a like a Jamaican, I think dance hall, R&B artist, and she had a song with him. Lil Wayne and Nicki are very versatile, and you know what I'm saying, they can rap on a lot of different things, but they can't necessarily do as much as what Drake does. That's why I consider them a little bit more rappers than I do consider then I consider them more of a rapper as in comparison to Drake, where Drake can just do so much. I don't see him rapping over a drill beat. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see him doing that. Can he? Probably. Lil Wayne is one of the most diversely creative, talented, lyrical geniuses I've ever heard in my life. But I don't really see him doing it. But I
was gonna say you could just put them more in the honorable mentions, adjacent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Or even. And like I said, and sometimes it's not even the way I look at it is very subjective to me. Sometimes it's not even about necessarily if you can produce. Like I said with Drake probably doesn't really produce much of his stuff, but Drake can play with so many different genres and sounds. But then you also have a rapper like Nas. Nas is a rapper, but I would also consider Nas an artist because Nas can rap something vivid, like a song he got called "I Gave You Power," where he raps as if he's a gun, an actual gun.
Oh yeah, I heard that. That was good.
You've heard that, yeah? That was off of the album It Was Written, my personal favorite Nas album, not Illmatic. Sorry, for anybody.
I really like that album too. I feel like
I'm glad I'm not
slept on, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's his best album.
It's very much overlooked by Illmatic, but it's just as good.
His best album is to me It Was Written. But then Nas could also make even today he was on a song with Fabio Foreign and ASAP Ferg. So I would even consider Nas a little bit more of an artist. You know what I'm saying? I would consider people who are more rappers. Jadakiss is a rapper. No, and I'm not shitting on Jadakiss whatsoever. I'm just using him as an example.
I was good. Yeah, a lot of the battle rappers would fall into that rapper category. Yeah, they have great bars, but can't really make great songs or albums.
Yeah, they're rappers. Who else would I use? I would consider Jay-Z an artist. I think Jay-Z can produce a little bit, but the thing with Jay-Z is that Jay-Z even made an album with Linkin Park. I don't know how great it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did like a collab album.
How long ago was
this? 2002.
Yeah, it's early 2000s. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Oh, yeah.
2002. Yeah. He did an album with Linkin Park. Jay-Z would come through, he'll rap his verse over and then Linkin Park would do background vocals, interpolating his music.
Wow.
You just gotta listen to it, Tom. It's
Yeah, well, he's Jay-Z, so of course they're gonna be his backing band, you know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's you just gotta listen to it to really get a good feeling for it. It's not really my cup of tea, but it's not horrible. Like you can listen to it.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like with Kanye West and Adam Levine, though.
I was gonna say Kanye West because in terms of like rappers, I feel like that is like to me he is the gold standard of like a hip hop, like a artist. True artist.
Yeah, there's a hip hop rapper and a hip hop artist, if that makes sense. Kanye, Jay-Z.
He's like a full-on artist, like, cause he's so versatile. Cause it might also like he's almost like a tortured artist as well. But yeah, I think it could also be just like the boredom because he clearly doesn't want to like make the same album twice.
Yeah, I will say that his name is dragged through the mud, and sometimes is even known more for his outburst and his type of stuff. That I would want to actually. I do gotta.
No, you got to
credit for what he is as an artist, and I want to actually hear more of his music.
Because I will say this right now, I think he has been one of the most consistent, not even just rappers, but most consistent artists in terms of the quality of music.
I completely agree.
Like Jay-Z is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay-Z. Yeah, most certainly.
Yeah. I mean, those were the two that I remember, like the biggest of the 2000s. I mean, of course, like you had other rapper. I mean, Eminem's the other big one that I felt like dominated it, and stuff like that. Sure. And I might be missing one at the moment, but yeah.
Would you consider Eminem an artist or just a rapper?
I don't know if Eminem produces, and Eminem kind of.
He does produce.
Oh, he does.
Yes.
Oh, if he produces, yeah, he's an artist.
So what about you? Also got you got Jay Electronica. Big Kurt, J. Cole, Soulja Boy.
Artist. Soulja Boy produces, artist.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they produce, then that's your definition of an artist then?
Most of the time. Because like I said, I don't know if Drake produces, but because of how many songs and how many different styles and genres of music Drake can make, I consider him an artist.
Okay, let me ask you this. What about Kendrick Lamar?
Does Kendrick produce?
I don't think he produces.
And see, that's the thing with Kendrick. I want to call Kendrick an artist, but if he doesn't produce, then I can't really do it. It goes back. But Kendrick's music is just so good, so it's hard.
I'm waiting on him because here's the thing. He said he wants to do like a rap rock album for his like next album, so I'm kind of waiting to see.
Didn't Kendrick Lamar curate the Black Panther soundtrack?
I think so. Jason.
I'm a
Jason.
I'm a huge.
He's another one you gotta check out.
I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm probably very biased, but
I say he's an artist personally.
Okay, he curated the Black Panther soundtrack, which is probably one of the top 3 greatest movie soundtracks of all time. So if he curated that, even if he didn't necessarily get on the keyboard or whatever and produce it, he had to make sure everything flowed, everybody got on there together. He had to make sure that he was like the glue of that entire project. And the fact that it was as good as it was, I personally would consider Kendrick Lamar an artist.
Yeah.
Even though it kind of goes against my criteria of having to be able to produce a little bit, which I think Kendrick can.
I think he can too. And he might do that in his next project.
He might, yeah, exactly.
Like I'm saying, he seems to be very ambitious with this next one he wants to put out, whenever that is.
Kendrick's getting on my damn nerves, bro. Bro, 5 years almost, bro. Do you know how much shit has Kendrick reads? The hell? One thing about I'm sorry, one thing about J. Cole, I do love J. Cole, although I love Kendrick way more. One thing I love about J. Cole released music, man.
Yeah, but not only does he produce his own music, he also produces for other people too. So there's that.
Yeah, but yeah, J. Cole's definitely an artist. I just was mentioning J. Cole just in comparison to Kendrick because
a lot of people compare them to. So
yeah, well, Kendrick's better, but I mean, I just like J. Cole. Yeah, I just like that J. Cole.
Like the way I always see, like especially like with the rappers that's popular right now, like Kendrick's number 1, Cole's at he's at that number 2 spot.
I'm not mad at that. I think there are other guys that you could probably potentially, at least right now, at this day and age, and this day and time, I think there are other artists that you might be able to put at 1 and 2 just based off what they've done recently. But if we're talking about like track record and like career wise and just like what they've done overall, like with their careers, then yeah, I don't mind that. I feel like Lil Baby is definitely up there. I mean, his music's flaming hot. I mean, My Turn came out last year, almost 2 years ago, and I think My Turn is still on the charts. So, you know, he's still doing real well. He's still doing a lot of features. Who else is up there? Lil Nas X. I mean, you know, if we're going to be real, I mean, Lil Nas X is, you know, You gotta give it to him too. He's one of the top in the game right now. Like,
right.
yeah, like when you think about
Little Nas, another rapper. I think he was producing his own stuff or doing something. I forgot. He passed away like a few years ago. It started with an M.
Oh, Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Oh, artist.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, Matt, it's
everything after his first album, I think, is fantastic. Like,
well, I mean, it's funny because I heard of him, and like, you know, I remember what he did with Ariana Grande with her first single, "The Way," and I thought that was a really good song, and I didn't really know who this guy was, but everybody was raving about him at the time, and I think he was just starting to become big, and then by 2014, 2015, people are talking about him all the time, and I know that he was big, and like I said, in high school I wasn't in the rapping phase, I wasn't listening to that, I was more still in the rock phase of listening to stuff from the 50s or 60s stuff. Like that was, but like, and when I heard like he died in 2018, I knew how much of a loss that was going to be for music, because I knew that like even though I wasn't a fan, I could tell like the kind of impact he had on hip hop and rap and stuff like that, as the type of artist he was. And I mean, it's sad then, and I mean, being 26 and close to the 20, not making the 27 club even, yeah. And there's a thing I've heard too that called the 21 club, where there's rappers that died at 21 and stuff like that, and that's become kind of like a thing, like how, of course, in rock, apparently 27 is a magic number for musicians that die and stuff like that,
Yeah, I think the 21 Club is definitely something. I haven't seen it myself, but it's probably something that's based off of a lot of rappers like today, because a lot of rappers are like overdosing and overdosing, straight up getting murdered. I think Tentacion, I think he passed away. I think he died or got killed rather. Or excuse me, let me be respectful.
I was gonna say with him, like, do you consider him an artist?
See, it's hard because my criteria is so wishy-washy, but
I think it's a decent criteria.
I appreciate that. I would consider X an artist because X can sing.
Right.
X could sing, then he could do that screaming shit and do that scream rap, and then he could also rap regularly. So I would consider X an artist too.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. I've been noticing, like, at least, especially like during like the second half of the 2010s, like a lot of rappers that was starting to get popular, especially like during like 2016, 2017. A lot of them started to try this thing as well.
Yeah, A Boogie's another one.
But even like
A Boogie. I don't know if A Boogie can produce, but because he can rap and sing, I would consider him an artist. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's just
you even got guys like Lil Yachty, even if they were not the best, but like they.
Lil Yachty is a rapper. Lil Yachty is a rapper. Lil Yachty's not an artist. I don't even want to. No. Let me stop.
Well, it's like I find this interesting what you're saying with that, because I feel like that's almost like what you can say about like a singer and a musician. Like a singer, like there's a difference between like just being a musician.
Right, is a singer.
Like a singer, like you could just sing and all that stuff and not really have that much music. Like for instance, like as much as I love Elvis Presley, I don't know if I consider him a musician, because he wasn't a songwriter. Well, yeah, he played piano and stuff like that. But as an artist wise of not writing songs and not really, I mean, yeah, he was. He was a musical genius at points, so I mean, I guess that could be sort of debated in some ways. I
would consider him a musician. I would consider him an artist, but like barely.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna like change my opinion on air like very quickly in that, because thinking about it too is because there's a lot I feel like that Elvis doesn't get credit for, especially in production with RCA. I feel the producers of RCA get credit when they shouldn't have, because like Steve Scholes, the guy who directed, I think the guy who produced a few of Elvis's first hits, did not really know how to make a rock record. Elvis was the one that knew how to do it. Elvis, like, Scotty Moore, who was the guitarist, talked about in interviews a few years before he died that basically, they were like, with a song like Heartbreak Hotel and Too Much, though that was the one where like they were producing it themselves. Elvis was producing. Elvis knew what he wanted. Elvis knew what there was like a tempo and stuff like that. Like, Scotty Moore even said that he wasn't, like that, like, controlling or all that. He would be like, play it how you feel. He said that there'd be times, he'd be like, actually, can we slow it down a little or can we speed it up? But that was basically it and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess I would consider him that, but I guess like then somebody like Frank Sinatra, I don't know if I'd consider him a musician. I think he's more of like a singer, and all that from what he did, and an actor and stuff like that.
Jumping on the Elvis point,
yeah,
I personally
I know it's tricky.
It is hard, yeah.
This is my thing with Elvis, right?
Even though he didn't write a song, yeah.
Elvis didn't write no song. I think Elvis was a great performer.
Yes.
That's better.
Elvis could dance his ass off.
Yes.
Elvis had probably the most star power of any artist that we've ever seen.
Yes.
During, you know what I'm saying? Until
in general?
Yeah, I would say that.
Up until his death, I don't know when James Brown came out.
James Brown was in the 50s, but like became a little bit more bigger in the 60s.
I keep forgetting he came out that early.
Okay, so it went Elvis, then James.
Yeah.
So yeah, Elvis, as far as star power and as far as for performance wise, there was nobody at the time greater or like better than him as far as those two categories. At the time of his death, there was nobody greater than him. Nobody.
Well,
Elvis. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Continue.
Oh, because this is the thing, right? And when I say star power, and like I said, I say performance-wise, like Elvis was a phenomenal performer. Like, I don't even really think people really even went to go really hear Elvis's music. I think they really just went for not just the music, but the overall performance, which is what you go for. But Elvis was a dancer. He had the star power. He had his makeup on. He had his hair doing shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Elvis was a music, I'll call him a musician right now. He was a musician and a sex symbol and a piece of him, like the American dream, because he kind of grew up like a little poor or something, they said, or something like that. Or
he grew up poor in Tupelo, Mississippi, and even in poor Memphis.
Tupelo, Mississippi, and then he moved to Memphis, and he was poor as shit too. Elvis, but anyways, and of course now he's this huge star. So my thing with Elvis was that, as far as musically, Elvis didn't really write his own music.
No,
Elvis didn't really play instruments. So I look at Elvis as a little bit more of a performer. Like, hey, bro, all you got to do is excuse me. Let me not say all you got to do. I'm not trying to take nothing away from Elvis's legacy. But hey, bro, you got him up. Memorize these lines and just make sure you got your dance moves down. Musically, you ain't really getting much credit from me. And then especially, I think Elvis gets a little bit too much credit, personally. Just for the simple fact that, people try to say Elvis like invented rock and roll and was like, no,
I mean, that's not
true. Chuck Berry was before Elvis.
Well, Bill Haley. Bill Haley, sometimes they say was the first one, but even that's not sort of correct in some ways.
You also had Ike Turner.
Ike Turner, yeah. But
I don't really know much about Ike Turner, but the guy that Tom mentioned, I've heard his name.
Yeah,
Chuck Berry. And another person that people don't like. Another person that people don't like to give any credit. She came out in like the 30s. Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Oh yeah. And I think like she was even I don't know. Wait, was she around the same time as like Robert Johnson and all that, or did she come out later?
I'd have to do a little bit more research, but I know that
I think she was more in the 50s, like 40s or 50s, maybe 30s. I don't know.
I think she was like 30s through like the 40s, and I think
and I know that like she was a big influence on Elvis. I heard that in the Elvis biopic, she's going to be actually a character in it. Like they're going to have her in it. I think
kind of stole from a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say with Elvis, like when you said about his musicianship, like for instance, like with his instruments, I will say that I think he, for instance, from what I heard, he could play by ear. He was a musical genius in a sense of he could hear a note from the piano and play it right away, even if he didn't know it. Like he had a good ear. And also too, a story I heard from a friend of mine who was a huge Elvis fan, bigger Elvis fan than I am. Ryan. But the funniest thing is he was saying that on the Elvis song "You're So Square, Baby I Don't Care," the one that was on JLS Rock, Elvis did the bass for that. Because Bill Black, the Elvis's bass player, he played on a stand-up bass, but they wanted to play it. I think the record company wanted to play like on an electric bass and all that, and he just could not do it on the electric bass, and he gave it up and took a break, and then Elvis did it and it didn't take him that long to do it, and that beginning the bum 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 that's Elvis.
But even still, bro,
Yeah,
I think Elvis was a little bit more noted for his performances. He didn't really he didn't really play a whole lot of instruments. I'm not taking nothing away from Elvis. And like I said, I think it was a little bit more of his star power, his story, and his performance abilities. And, Elvis could sing. He had a good voice. But, Elvis was, I give credit where credit is due. Elvis was a bad motherfucker in his day, yo. Elvis, they used to have Elvis in movies. Elvis couldn't act.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an Elvis Presley movie? Elvis was a shitty actor. You ever seen the Eddie Murphy joke where he was like, "Yo, Elvis couldn't act. He should let him sing all his dialogue." They'd be like, "Elvis, we gotta win this race. We gotta win this race." Like he just had that much star power. And even though Elvis was a shitty actor, it was the fact that he was just him.
Well, I think the problem with his acting in some ways is because Elvis apparently wanted to be an actor before he wanted to be a singer. Actually,
I'm glad that he was a singer.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's funny because there are times I've seen him acting in like the first 6 movies that he did, Love Me Tender, King Creole. I think honestly he did a phenomenal job acting in those stuff like Jailhouse Rock. I think the 60s is when those films were just complete sour. But the problem was because Colonel Tom Parker's manager believed that he needed a specific formula of Elvis singing a bunch of songs, doing the same kind of plot where he has to, kind of like where a pretty girl is kind of mad at him. He has to try to win her over. He gets her at the end. And like that was basically all of the films in the 60s. The early 50s films like Love Me Tender, Jailhouse Rock, Loving You. Well, yeah, like Jailhouse Rock, like there are some scenes where actually he's really good in that. I don't know if you've seen Jailhouse Rock or something like that, but like he's really good in that. See that and see. Have you seen King Creole?
No.
That might change your mind on what you think of Elvis's acting.
I've seen parts, but I haven't seen the whole movie.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that he's like James Dean, but also, too, he never had the chance because Colonel Tom Parker would barely never let him to. But, I mean, I will be honest. I mean, there were some movies like Flaming Star where he could – and I haven't seen it all the way through, so I can't, tell if it's a great movie or not. But it didn't make a lot of money. And maybe it's like – listen, it could be a few things. Maybe it's that he wasn't a good actor. But also, too – audiences, especially in 1960, he was still the biggest thing at the time. And when they see Elvis, they don't want to see him just like, act and all that. They want to see him sing. They want to see him, dance around. They wanted to see him like, dazzle the audience and all that. And I think that was the thing that was the problem with Elvis too. But I agree with what you say that he does get a little too much credit in the sense as much as I love Elvis and he's one of my favorite artists of all time.
I give credit where credit is due. Elvis was a bad motherfucker.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't want people to think I hate Elvis. Like that's
I don't think you do at all.
No, not you. I'm just saying, like, I don't know who's watching this. I don't want people to be like, oh, that guy's.
Oh no, but I think it's true to acknowledge too that like as much as he was big in the 50s, like and all that stuff, I think he's the biggest artist out of all the others, and they don't. And like Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, those people don't get the credit they deserve as much as now as they did back then. Like
I don't think Sister Rosetta get the credit at all neither because like I think she might be the most influential artist of like the 1900s and the time we're in now. Like the way I forgot because I can't really speak about like the technical aspect of the music. Yeah, but just the stuff that Sister Rosetta Tharpe was doing during her time and like as far as her music and her performances. Yeah, honestly, everybody kind of got it from her.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day. But
But I think like other artists that do not get the credit that they deserve, like especially like for instance like Little Richard and Chuck Berry, when they died, there was not that much mentioned at all in the mainstream media as it should be. For instance, like on these talk shows like today, when like David Bowie and Prince died, listen, like as much as they're great artists and they got the respect that they deserve when they died, like Prince, they had a whole SNL memory to him, like a whole show dedicated to him, and Jimmy Fallon had stuff about David Bowie too. But when Chuck Berry and Little Richard died, those 50 years, they get no credit at all, like or stuff like that. Like there's no like I tried to look on Jimmy Fallon's or Colbert's like then no tribute at all, and I was like, how could you not? I mean, these guys are the biggest artists, and listen, just because they weren't performing as much as these other guys doesn't mean that their mark in history is not good at all. I mean, a lot of these artists are like famous because of them. Without Little Richard, without Chuck Berry, there would be no Mick Jagger, there would be no Keith Richards. These people were like the architects. Like Little Richard's considered the architect. Bill Haley would be considered the father of rock and roll. Now he's someone that doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He's one of like the founding members. Like he was like some people will say he was like the first rock and roller, and in some ways like it's hard to tell what the first rock and roll song. Some people say Rock Around the Clock, but I think of what you were saying, like with Ike Turner, like with Rocket 88, that might be considered the first rock and roll song. But anyway, with Bill Haley, he was not even inducted in the first year of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was inducted in the second year, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that, you know, it was just like kind of like, you know, I don't feel he ever got the credit, and he still doesn't. You know, the death of his 40th anniversary passed, and you know, nobody cares who he is. A lot of people don't even know who he is, and it's sad because he did like help like start stuff. Now, of course, maybe he wasn't. Because the thing too, I think with him too is he was a little bit older and he wasn't much of a sex appeal as somebody like an Elvis or like maybe like maybe like a Chuck Berry or Jerry Lee Lewis sort of like in some ways, you know. Mm-hmm. But you know, he was somebody that like had like these songs that were definitely banging songs, like Rock Around the Clock, but the cover of Big Joe Turner's Shake, Rattle and Roll. You know, even doing like Rock, Beat and Boogie, and like, I mean, I can name a lot of others, you know, too. But I don't feel like, you know, a lot of those artists like get the credit that they still deserve.
Yeah, but in all honesty, a lot of artists from the 1950s in general don't really.
Yeah.
They're really,
being real, I personally think the greatest artist of all time passed away 6 years ago, and you know, when it's his birthday or the day that the memorial that he passed, I feel like a lot of people don't give him credit. I want to see
what artist you referring to?
Prince.
Oh, right, you talked about that with me. You don't feel that Prince. Now, why do you feel that Prince does not get the credit he deserves?
Because Prince to me is because Prince to me, that's another one. Michael Jackson. I mean, he was during the 80s. I mean, Mike was Mike. Yeah. I mean, I will sit up here and I'll argue with the most knowledgeable music historian person. Musically, and I understand, and this is what I was going to get into about when we like Tom, like earlier you said, like artists don't get their credit, because at the end of the day, it's not really about who makes the best music; it's about who makes the biggest music.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson could not fuck with Prince. It's part of my language.
Michael
Jackson could not fuck with Prince.
We've had this conversation before.
Yeah, we did. We have.
As far as artistry.
Prince had more albums out in the Michael Jackson's considered the best artist of the 80s. He only had 2 albums released in the 80s on solo, and I think like 2 as the group with the Jacksons. Prince every year.
Mike is the biggest artist of the 80s.
Yeah.
Prince Rogers Nelson from Minnesota is the greatest.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say Prince don't get his credit, we're not even going to talk about Michael Jackson right now, because I was actually getting ready to bring up James Brown and Michael Jackson. But well, matter of fact, no. Let me stick with my James Brown point, and then we'll move on. And then I got something I got to do soon, but you know what I'm saying? Just keep.
Yeah, sure. No.
Pretty much, but this was a lot of fun, y'all. But let me explain like this, because you know we was kind of segueing out of the 50s into the 60s. I mean, when we also talk about performers, especially influences on not to make it a race thing, but just being real, on Black performers.
Yeah.
I mean, was there anybody more important than James Brown?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that's another thing we got to think about too. Like, you know, I personally feel like people our age can't even really, like, they might be like, oh yeah, I've heard of him. Like my grandma listened to him, but they don't even understand how influential James Brown was. The 2 biggest artists of the 80s and the biggest artist of all time, and to me, the best artist of all time, both were like, I don't want to say enamored, but like both idolized James Brown. Michael Jackson and both Prince idolized James Brown.
Yeah.
Like Michael just said, like, yo, as far as my ability to dance and everything like that, and like perform and give like, you know, real like heart wrenching, like gut, like real heartfelt, like powerful performances. He's like, I got that from James. And Prince said the same thing. They were both huge James Brown fans. Yeah. And James Brown, maybe in the last 60, 70, 80 years, James Brown might be he might very well be he might be the greatest stylistic innovator in music. Because with James Brown, the way he did songs was so unique from everyone before him. And, you know, I don't want to speak too much on this or take anything away from other artists. So, you know what, Tom, I'm going to ask you. You just, even though James Brown is not a rock and roll artist, he's a soul artist. I get that.
Yeah.
But I just want to, just for principles, as far as rock in the 40s and in the 50s.
Yeah.
Is the song structure similar?
40s and the 50s?
Yeah, like the way people kind of made a rock song. Like, for example, like for me, rap, I think rap is like the song structure now is very similar. So in the 40s and the 50s,
I mean, I would say, yeah, of course.
It was very similar, right?
Yeah, of course, because, you know, I mean, a lot of that stuff, like, yeah, of course it was all influenced from that, especially in the late 40s with people like, I think Roy Brown, who did Good Rockin' Tonight, which Elvis did later, and stuff like that. It was that boogie woogie 12-bar blues.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because I figure, like, because I'm glad you actually said 12 bars, because that's something I can, like, relate to, because I know rap music, like,
like,
pretty much measured in bars. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like you said, 12-bar blues. You know what I'm saying? 12 bars, then maybe a chorus, then maybe a bridge or something like that. So that's why I was asking, because I'm not as familiar with rock and roll as you are. You are the rock historian. Oh, but you know, when we look at it, that's why I just was saying, like, even though I know James Brown wasn't a rock artist, just getting to my point with him, nobody sounded like James Brown.
That's true.
Nobody, bro. Have you ever heard, bro? I don't think that's English.
Yeah,
like,
no.
James Brown got to be the only person on the. I think James Brown was divorced about 4 or 5 times, and I was like, shit. I wonder why.
You know, James Brown. I'll say this right now. I think James Brown is easily one of the most like influential, especially like black artists.
He's easily the most influential. Other than Sister Rosetta Tharpe, it's easily James Brown, easily James or Michael. But real quick, like. Nobody's to start to just keep it on him.
Well, there's 2 things I want to talk about after. I'll let you get to your point, but after James Brown, there's another thing I want to get to, like to add on to your James Brown thing. But go first, yeah.
Nobody sounded like him. Like I said, James Brown did not speak English.
Yeah.
They did people say, hey. I remember hearing that shit as a kid, and hey, and all that bullshit, bro. Well, I thought that was bullshit at the time. And I'm on my grandmother's record player. RIP my grandmother. I'm on my grandmother's record player. And I'm like, did I miss something? I go back. I thought the record skipped or some shit. I'm putting the record back. My own the people think I'm a dog. Aren't your man should be sitting. Hey, I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, it's about these mumble rappers and not knowing what the fuck they talking about. What the hell is James Brown talking about? And what he was saying, I don't think anybody has ever sang with more passion than James Brown. And whatever the hell he be saying, like I said, whatever the fuck it'd be real heavy and heartfelt. Because he'd be like, hey. And I remember just being a kid and hearing that shit. And I used to be like, what is going on? And that's the thing, like I say about James Brown, like as far as style, he was completely different from everybody of his time. He, like I said, sounded different, talked different, everything. His style of music was different. The way his bar scheme and everything, like the Big Payback. Like, that, like everything about James Brown was just so unique. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, as far as I say stylistic innovator, as far as music goes, I personally think within the last 80 years or however many you want to go back, or 70, whenever James Brown came out, I don't think that there was anyone who was more stylistically innovative than him. And that's go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's pretty much my point about James Brown.
Well, I'm going to ask this. So I guess to continue on with this. So do you consider him an artist?
You're going to ask that the whole time?
Hell yeah. Just from the simple fact of like his style. And I think James Brown could play some instruments. But if James Brown couldn't play any instruments, then I might just consider him maybe just a singer or a singer/songwriter. But if James could play little instruments, I probably would include him. But like I said, and that's the thing with the point I was trying to make. His style, even if he didn't play instruments, his style was just so unique and just so transcending and just so like the dexterity of it was just so profound that even if not, I might have to give James the pass. You feel me? So
yeah. No, like you said, there are exceptions to the rule. So
exactly, and I think James is definitely
he's definitely an exception. Like he's one of those artists you really can't like.
Yeah. No. Continue. What were you saying?
That was pretty much it. I did want to ask like for example, like Aretha Franklin. Would you consider her an artist?
She's just gonna ask that over and over. What you think is an artist?
Yeah.
Aretha was a singer and a songwriter. Aretha was wildly talented, but a lot of her singing was sang and
it was covers, but like, I think I agree with you. Yeah, I think like
I think I consider Aretha Franklin a little bit more of a singer, but a hell of a singer.
What I will say about Aretha, like
Aretha can sing any fucking thing. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Any song that she's saying, like, yeah, it's like what you said. She can sing any song, and any song from the original artist, she made it 100 times better. Like, I was listening to like "Bridge Over Troubled Water" from Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. She does that like way better than the original. Now, I love Simon and Garfunkel. Don't get me wrong, but that version, oh my god! I mean, even like I say a little prayer, like, and I mean, respect, the biggest one. That was an Otis Redding song.
I continuously forget that. Like.
I would consider I would consider Aretha more of a singer.
Well, now
Aretha is Marvin hell of a singer.
Yeah. Well, now
go ahead. My fault.
Oh, sorry. Well, no, I was just gonna. The one thing I wanted to say though, too, of like with James Brown, of what you were saying that like as like two other artists like that I feel of like African American that were very influential, that were timeless, that were kind of like the like with like 50s like Chuck Berry and Little Richard, they were great and all that, but in fact some though like the other artists, even like the white artists, like Jerry Lee Lewis and Buddy, well, of course, because Buddy Holly died, but like they were more popular in just their times of the 50s. A lot of those artists were just more popular in that decade. They couldn't, go into like other decades like other artists. But James Brown, Sam Cooke, and Ray Charles, I think were artists that were influential and stood out of like all of those other artists. Like, I mean, like you talk about James Brown, but like Sam Cooke, I think is like the godfather of soul in some ways, or I don't know if that's considered more James Brown, godfather of soul, but he's definitely up there. I think with music.
You're not wrong. Like, yeah, you're not wrong to give him that.
I forget. Is James Brown considered the godfather of soul, or is that okay? Because Sam, I forget what Sam Cooke's considered, but I know he was because a big soul sinner. I mean, a lot of his stuff, especially stuff he did in the 50s is good, but I'm talking about like the 60s stuff, like, Bring It On Home to Me, What a Wonderful World, and, the best one, A Change Is Gotta Come. I mean, oh my God, like, and a beautiful song. Though. Oh yeah, he is, and
I'm glad you mentioned Ray Charles too, because I love Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, yeah, I mean, from what he did in the 60s and stuff like that, and what he even did in the 80s, like how he was featured in We Are the World, and he was in the Billy Joel duet. He was somebody that would be like timeless and was able to, like he was just like one of those artists. Like Sam Cooke, and James Brown, in my opinion, I think are the artists that are definitely like outstanding and are people that are completely timeless because they like Sam Cooke stuff. I think like relates to even stuff going on today. I think you can put on a Sam Cooke record and just like definitely like this guy was saying something. This guy had something to say. This guy is this guy definitely is like it's a shame of the way he died too. And all that stuff that he was no longer here to and especially to bring on like more beautiful music. It's just like because you wonder like what other great songs that he would have came up with. I mean, he was just a genius.
I 1,000% agree with you on that one, Tom. And another artist too. We just gonna keep it on like 60s African Americans, man. Yeah. Otis Redding.
Yes, yeah. We were talking about how he, did
Otis died really young, man. But what Otis did with his time here, bro.
Yeah,
Otis was different.
I was listening to Try a Little Tenderness today. I was running to it, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Otis has actually been picked up in the hip hop industry over the last 10 years. Like, I think Try a Little
Jay-Z song.
Kanye West and Jay-Z song, Try a Little Tenderness. I think it's that one, or it might be another one. But yes, that song. And then, although it's probably bad to probably kind of mention this song, especially like with. Well, anyways, I just hate the song. This is the name of this song, but Travis Scott and Quavo came out with a rap song about 3 or 4 years ago. And my favorite, Buddha Bless the Beat is probably my favorite hip hop producer. Buddha Bless the Beat sampled one of Otis Redding's song on their song called Modern Slavery. As I said, I hate the fucking name. But they actually sample his song, so he's actually been catching on like in hip hop a lot lately. But yeah, Otis Redding is definitely another one from the 60s that we definitely got to give credit to. But Tom, salute to you because I think people kind of look at Sam Cooke as a one-hit wonder. Like I've heard him referred to.
What? Like for instance, like for what? You Send Me, or like what's the one-hit wonder you would say?
Is it A Change Gonna Come?
Well, change gonna come, but like, yeah. Well, You Send Me was like this thing in the 50s.
Had like one song, like and I'm just telling you, I'm happy to hear you say that because a lot of people don't know how crazy of an artist like Sam Cooke really was.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's why I was saying salute to you for being able to tell. Because Sam Cooke had one song.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's somebody that, like, I mean, James Brown, God bless him, he gets the, like he's definitely, any credit he gets to him, he deserves it. Like, James Brown's one of the best. But Sam Cooke, I always feel, is somebody who is always like kind of like, like underrated in a lot of ways, and doesn't, like what you said too, people think of him as like a one-hit wonder in some ways because people remember A Change Is Gonna Come from, maybe history class or hearing like it from like if they're watching a documentary and stuff like that. That song is used in a lot of documentaries about what was going on in the 60s with the civil rights movement and all that. But yeah, that might be like one of the only songs they know about him, and all that. They might not even know like his first big hit was one, like You Send Me, was one of the biggest songs of the 50s. His song Summertime was also big, like that version. I mean, it was done by a lot of people, Summertime, but yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just glad, like I said, that you mentioned that because even I had forgot about Sam Cooke, but I'm glad that you mentioned that. But real quick, because what is it? I am gonna have to get running soon. I did just want to bring up.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to say my final point, but just one of the kind of last points I wanted to make: the Prince and Michael Jackson argument. Ooh, I love arguing this. This is my thing, right?
First, I was gonna say before you get into that, like, or you can save it for the end too, but like, would you consider Michael Jackson an artist?
Hell no. Hell no. Artist of Michael Jackson sounds about as right as like peanut butter and pickles. Like, hell no.
This is gonna be Anthony's trademark throughout the show, guys.
No, because I was gonna say something about that, and then
but he bringing up good people, but no, I would not consider Michael Jackson.
No, because I was gonna say something about that, and then you can get into your point. Because I told Tom about this in the last show. So apparently, Michael Jackson had actually worked on the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles soundtrack. But I think because of the controversy, they try to work his music out of it.
Oh, yeah, the controversy. Oh, okay, I didn't know what controversy.
Yeah, I think it was the first case, I think, you said, right? The 93 one? Yeah.
Yeah, all types of cases.
Yeah, because I didn't count on that for you, but yeah. But I'm continuing.
Real quick, please don't get me started on the whole Michael Jackson case thing because Michael Jackson.
We're not going to talk about that.
We'll save that for another time.
Yeah. It ain't something I don't want to express my opinions over the internet. But this is my thing with Michael Jackson because I give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson is the greatest entertainer of all time.
Agreed.
No one. We're not going to be alive when the next Michael Jackson come around, if ever. Yeah, no one on this planet, no one in this world has been a greater. He is the greatest entertainer because at the end of the
I was going to say, tell that to Bruno Mars from Justin Bieber because they're trying.
Not even close.
Bruno Mars is better than Justin Bieber by a long shot.
Tell them to drop an album that sells 80 million.
Yeah. One of the best albums of all time,
Yeah, you tell them to do that. Drop
with
an album
7 singles out of 9 songs being like big hits,
number ones. Michael Jackson has 7 number one. He was Britney Spears was the only artist. I mean, at that point in 2000 to do that, like 6 number one singles in the same year.
What about Beyonce?
I don't know if Beyonce ever did 6. I think Beyonce did 4.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but Beyonce might have. But like I said, if anybody's done it, it might since Britney Spears, it might be her. But as I was saying, like Michael, like I said, he's the greatest entertainer of all time. Like I don't know if y'all have ever seen that video. I don't know if you guys are real big on Twitter. I came across a video on Twitter. Michael Jackson was standing at a show, probably. I think Just Dance made a Michael Jackson edition of their game. Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up, Kevin. Like that's how big Michael was, or is still to this day. Michael Jackson was on this stage, probably in front of a sold out crowd of probably about 70, 80, 90, 100,000 people. Michael Jackson was standing there, had his head down. You couldn't even barely see his face. This is when he got vitiligo and his skin changed, and he had his hair, he had his hat on, he had all this shit on. Michael Jackson just standing there for about like 30, 40 seconds, did not move a muscle. Yo. In the video, security had to go and carry people out of the stadium and give them medical attention because of his presence.
Wow.
Did y'all hear what I said? Hold on, let me repeat it. Michael Jackson stood on a stage, did not breathe, did not sit, did not squat, did not move a muscle, stood on a stage
I did not hear this story. Wow.
Completely still.
And people were freaking out.
Bro, the stadium, I know people who were in that stadium left with permanent hearing damage because it was that loud.
What store, like what year was this? Or like what?
I'm gonna share Instagram. I'm gonna share a YouTube link with you. Don't even worry. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanna see that.
I'm gonna share a YouTube link with you. Because I really wish we could show the viewers right now, but they'll have to look at it another time. Matter of fact, viewers, type it on YouTube, Michael Jackson makes fans faint, and you'll see it.
Yeah.
Michael was standing there, bro. Like standing there, just standing there. I don't even think he performed a song yet. I think he just kind of came on the stage and was just standing there. And like I said, while he was standing there and the place was going crazy, there was literally medical people carrying people out by their arms and their legs, like in their arms. I seen somebody get carried on a stretcher out of the building. People were passing out just because it was Michael fucking Jackson.
Yeah.
Yo, the man was like this.
Wow.
Still, y'all. Yeah. I thought Michael Jackson was standing. Literally, bro, if that would have, like how still he was, if that would have been like a cardboard cutout, I would have not been surprised.
Yeah.
And people were passing out, getting carried off on stretchers. People were crying.
Wow.
I'm like, yo, like, if he let out a hee, he would have caused a mass genocide.
Yeah. Or if he dropped it, went down on his crotch.
Yeah. If he would have grabbed his dick right here on this motherfucking stage, bro, there would have been the coroner would have had to come in there and come get somebody.
Yeah, they would have. The fans would have been urinating. Like apparently that was reported with like the Beatles and the Stones.
People would have died at that concert.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was like, I know I'm taking a long time to just describe.
No. This is great, man.
People don't understand how popular. Michael Jackson sold 80 million copies of his fucking record, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is the best-selling record of all time.
Of all time. Nothing's even close to it. I think the closest thing is Pink Floyd, Other Side of the Dark Moon.
Yeah.
That's the only thing close. And he has that beat by like 10 million.
Yeah.
Like, Michael was just like nothing we've ever seen before, yo.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you another quick story about Michael Jackson's star power.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I know this guy. He's about in like he's like 35, maybe. Yeah, he's probably like his like mid 30s, maybe his early 40s, because he kind of balding. But he's in like his mid 30s. He was telling me about how when Michael Jackson used to come to Atlanta, the biggest place that we had here, I think, was like Fulton County Stadium or something like that. Fulton County is the county which Atlanta resides in. And he said that his dad went to go take him to see Michael Jackson one time. He said that he remembers the show and how ridiculous and how crazy it was and how great Michael was, the dancing, the singing, and everything like that. Yo, he said that, like, he said he was like 10 years old, bro, or maybe even younger. He said, yo, as a kid, he was like, Michael, when he got through with his set, he took a bow, tilted his head to the right, the hat came off, came down his arm, he grabbed it, took it, and threw it, like in the crowd. He said, bro, the way Michael Jackson threw that hat, I swear to God, sparkles left his hand and glided with that hat. He said that is how magical Michael Jackson was. His performances were in person.
Wow.
So people passing out from just his presence, and people saying that they saw sparkles and all this other Disney Channel ass shit just because of one fucking person. He's the greatest entertainer of all time. Performed from. I don't think Michael Jackson ever had a concert that didn't sell out.
I think you're right. I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, the guy was a good performer.
Exactly. The guy was an excellent performer.
During even his darkest days,
Even during his darkest days, he was an excellent performer. Michael Jackson was a good singer, a great singer. I'd say Michael was a great singer. Mike has some vocal range.
Yeah, no.
This is the thing with me, and this is the thing with Mike. Mike had a lot of songwriters. Like the song "You Are Not Alone," was written by R. Kelly.
Oh, that's right. It was.
Okay.
I think Carl actually mentioned it.
I think he did. Yeah.
Shout out to him.
That's one of his top 10 songs of all time, probably. Maybe top 10. Well, nah. Saying top 10 songs of Michael Jackson is, that's like saying, oh yeah, like that ain't saying shit. Because Michael probably got 30 of them. Michael probably realistically if you do his greatest hits, Michael probably has about 30 songs at least. But anyways, like that's how great of a point. Like that's how great of a performer he was. That's how great of an act he was. We won't ever see anybody like that. Like, think about it. Who's the greatest performer / biggest artist in the game right now? Justin Bieber, Drake, Nicki.
It's kind of hard to believe that Justin Bieber is still one of the is considered one of the greatest because I don't know. I mean, like as a kid, like listen, I don't have that much, listen. I mean, I know he's done some shitty stuff as a person and all that stuff, but I always kind of thought of his music even 10 years ago as a joke. I mean, I get it, the girls loved him and all that, but like I just thought I thought he was a joke I thought his songs were not that good, and even now I know some people love his stuff. I don't. I mean, if you do, I mean, that's great and all that. Like people do, I'm sure that there are some people that do, and I get that some people are into it. He's doing stuff that some people like in the hip hop world, sort of, and all that. And I guess that was sort of kind of even maybe his audience even in the beginning, being signed by Usher and then Scooter Braun and all them. But I think what you're saying, there really isn't anybody as influential as Michael Jackson now. Yeah, nobody.
Don't know about influential, but I'm just talking about as far as star power and being an entertainer.
Yeah.
The people I just named, they're great. Nicki, Justin
Bieber.
You
might be, maybe influential is a small thing to say.
Ariana, Eminem, all those guys.
But star power wise, I think it's a few artists are can do that, I think. And I think the few artists that have had big stage presence like that has been Elvis, Michael Jackson, and the Beatles, I think,
And I think those guys are up here. I think Michael is great.
Really? Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, I'm a big. I mean, not that I don't love Michael. He's up there for me, but I think Beatles and Elvis are of course, up there for me, because I mean, I think it's in decade wise too, the way I see it, Elvis, you got the 50s, Beatles, 60s, I know people will say Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the 70s, and Queen, but I think if you want to consider, as band wise, those three, yes. Solo artist wise, the best of the 70s, Elton John, I think, Elton John is up there, I think, is one of the best solo artists. Here, I'm gonna give you my top 10 most star power solo artists that I believe out there. Oh yeah, Marvin Gaye too. But this is what I'll say: Beatles, Elvis, Michael Jackson, Buddy Holly, Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen, David Bowie, Prince, Michael Jackson, and Billy Joel and Elton John.
Wait, why would you mention the Beatles? That's a band.
Well, I mentioned all the artists together.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Tom makes some great points. So like I said, I get where Tom is coming from, but the reason why I was just talking about Michael's star power so much is because now I'm finna tell you how I really feel about him. Yeah. Michael, phenomenal performer. I would, even though, like I said, I have my certain opinions about Michael Jackson, but we're just gonna keep it on music. I would, if I ain't gonna lie to you, if I was I would probably sell damn near everything in my house if I go watch Michael Jackson perform in person, front row.
Yeah.
I'd just be poor for right now. So he was that great of a performer, and like I said, solo performer and just performance as a general, I think he's above all the people you mentioned. They're phenomenal. I think he's above them. That's just me.
Right.
As far as musically goes, I think a lot of people are better than him.
Oh yes,
Michael can sing. Michael was a great singer. Michael was a phenomenal dancer, even though a lot of his dance moves he got from street performers in New York City. But I digress. Michael was a phenomenal dancer.
Some Soul Train dances, but that's another thing.
Yeah, excellent dancer. Excellent dancer. Great singer. But his songwriting abilities, he had a lot of writers. His musically, all those instruments and stuff like that were played.
I was gonna say when it comes to his music, guys like Quincy Jones and Toto, they pretty much carried him with that.
Oh, Brad, I forgot Toto was involved a lot, right?
Yeah.
Michael can play. I read about his legacy, about his musicianship. He can play a little keys.
Yeah, but you got to remember too. He was only part of like a whole.
Michael was an
part
entertainer
of a band, but he's
Yeah.
not like yeah.
Well, I
He was just
wonder
one
even how
component.
much of a song, because I know he has some soul songwriting credits. I don't know how big that would be, like Beat It or Billie Jean. I don't know how big. I think as an artist, he was able to get those types of royalties, just how big he was. I'm sure that he didn't write as much as the music. Lyrics, probably yes. I would say yeah.
Yeah. As far as Michael goes, like I said, I don't give him much credit as a musician and as an artist because
I agree.
He didn't really play many instruments.
He had a whole team of people doing the stuff. Basically.
Yeah,
exactly, bro. And then, like I said, he had a whole bunch of writers. If you look at Michael Jackson's biggest songs, bro, it's like 15 writers, bro.
Rod Temperton did Thriller, Rock With You. I mean, yeah, Rod Temperton, like this was like a white English guy who wrote like these big funk songs, and all that stuff. Yeah,
again, you had him, Quincy
that's
Jones,
why
you had all these people.
Yeah,
doing the stuff. You had these great musicians, these talented, established people that was pretty much helping. That was pretty much helping them with his career.
I don't think anybody will ever outsell Michael Jackson. I don't think anybody will ever outsell him. I don't think anybody will ever be bigger than him. I don't think anybody will be a greater entertainer. Like I said, and if we do see somebody like that, we'll be long gone.
Yeah,
I'll say
that would be a motherfucker. Go ahead.
I gotta ask you guys this. So, all right, so VH1 they did like 100 greatest artists of all time list back in like 2010. Have you guys seen it?
I've seen pieces of it.
I've seen some stuff from VH1.
You can find it on YouTube. I think it's still up. But basically, where do you think Michael Jackson landed on that list?
He had to be top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
was it? What was the number?
One, number 2.
He's number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah, who's
number 1?
I'm pretty sure you can guess.
Elvis, right?
No.
Beatles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then was Elvis 3?
He was not. He was like number 8 or something.
What?
Prince was like number 9. Steve Wonder was like number 10.
Oh, Stevie Wonder, definitely another great one. Nobody liked him. Yeah.
Just getting on some more.
But I might be wrong. Elvis, I think might have been a little higher.
Okay.
I think it was James Brown was like number 8.
But what were saying, it doesn't surprise me that Michael Jackson's that high on the list. But this is the thing: like when we talk about from a pure entertainment standpoint, this is why I try not to really get like upset when I hear people make this argument. Because at the end of the day, music is entertainment, and a lot of people are going to consider Michael better because he was more popular, because he sold more, this, that, and the third. Although Michael Jackson had early exposure in the music industry because he was a child star, but regardless, that's why I give Michael his credit where credit is due. But as far as being a musician and as far as just being an artist, he can't fuck with Prince. And I think that's why Prince was so, but like a lot of people said Prince didn't really fuck with Michael. He was towards Michael. I think that's why Prince was so upset, because he's like, bruh, I'm better than this dude.
Because he was.
But this industry is based upon who brings in the most money, who's the most.
Let me ask you this: wouldn't you feel that way? Wouldn't you feel slighted if someone that was not as good as you was doing better?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because I would.
And I don't think it's so much jealousy. I think it's just so much of, this effort that it's like, I'm making all these great stuff, and people, I feel like in some ways are giving attention to the wrong guy, in some ways.
And honestly, I hate this. I hate to like admit it. Like, I didn't know how like deep his music went. Like, because I only knew some. Until he was died.
Releasing a lot of he had an album out like right before he died. He was releasing a lot of material.
Yeah.
And the thing with Prince too that's so interesting is Michael Jackson's considered like the best artist of the 80s. Like the way the Beatles are with the 60s and the way with Elvis. Yeah. Beatles, of course, released a lot of albums in the 60s. Elvis, released a lot of singles in his, period of like from like 56 to, the end of the 50s. But with the beat, and then adding on to like early 60s with his still big hits. But for instance, with Michael Jackson, he only had technically like 4 albums out, 2 from with the Jacksons and 2 by himself. Mm-hmm. And Prince had an album out every year except 1983.
Exactly, and that's my point. And all of those albums were probably great. All of those albums sold real well. And another thing too,
and he did all the music on it. Even though he had a backing band, they were performing. He did all the music.
That's the point I was gonna make. Prince wrote songs. He performed them. He could dance a little bit. He wasn't like Michael. By the time Prince died, they said that Prince had a level of mastery of 26 different instruments and musical and what is it musical devices.
Yeah.
6. Prince was literally the definition of a one-man band.
Yeah.
was.
Well, yeah, I heard Prince can engineer a little bit. I heard he could produce, of course. He wrote for other people. And I personally don't believe that Michael Jackson has an album greater than Prince's Purple Rain.
Okay, let me ask you this. What do you think is Michael Jackson's best album? Because I'm curious.
Bad was a good fucking album. Thriller was great. Hold on, yo. I'm sorry. I gotta look up something real quick.
Well, you know what I'll say, like, for me, it's hard to say. Like, when I was in high school, when I was getting into Michael Jackson, an album that I really loved, because I knew Thriller stuff, but stuff that I was really loving in high school more, I think, was some way, was Off the Wall. And a lot of people who were into, like, 60s and 70s stuff, like a guy I watch on YouTube, a lot of people, like, who were into, like, the rock stuff of, like, the 60s, 70s stuff, a lot of people will say Off the Wall is their favorite, like, more than Thriller, actually.
Yeah, I think that's his best album, personally.
Well, Off the Wall and Thriller, I would say, are the best two. I mean, Bad, I don't know if that would be considered.
It's a good album.
It's a good album, Bad, but I'm just
Bad has some songs on there, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't say Bad. I'm sorry, I just gotta look through the songs.
Yeah.
I think I like Dangerous. It's also, but it's also weaker, but like.
Well, Off the Wall, I was listening to one of them, like, which was known as not one, like, kind of the cornier ones, like the Fallen in Love. It was the ninth one, like, it's the Fallen in Love.
I ain't gonna lie to you, as corny as this sounds, I would either say, Rock With You, or I would say Thriller.
Yeah. Rock With You is, I think Rock With You, I sometimes think that, like, his 70s stuff, like Rock With You, and, like, is probably his best song, like, one of his best. It's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. I mean, that, and She's Out of My Life. That's a great one, too.
You know,
but I would say those two albums would be tied for me for my favorite Michael Jackson album. But like I said, those albums can't hold a candle to Purple Rain.
I agree.
Yeah.
Those albums sold more. Those albums probably had better singles. But as far as a musical body of work in general, Purple Rain to me is better. And like I said, Prince was the best artist of the 80s. Prince produced, Prince wrote for other people. He sang, he danced, he did all that. Michael could. This is the thing. The things that Michael could do, Prince could do, he just couldn't do it as well as Michael. But some of the things that Prince can do, Michael couldn't do at all.
Yeah.
So if we talking music, Prince got it all day. Prince also, to me, was a lot more of like a humanitarian when it came to the music industry. He was telling a lot of Nas, the rapper from Queens, reached out to Prince. I remember he told a story. And Nas reached out. He was like, yo, Prince, I want to do a song. And Prince was going through that label thing where he couldn't use his name anymore because they wasn't allowing him to release music. Yeah. So Nas called Prince, want to do a song. And Prince was like, do you own your masters to your music? Nas was like, nah. He's like, when you own your masters, call me. So Prince was giving out game like that. Prince was speaking out against these labels. Prince was like, music industry is all just a big ass scam.
Right, when he was going as the art. Yeah, when the media had to call him the artist formerly known as Prince because he was only going by a symbol that had no name, Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I just like overall, like musically, Prince is better. The only thing I wouldn't give Prince over Michael would just be the performance ability. But, if we just talking about entertainment wise, which is what music is, everybody Michael. And that's a fair point and I respect it. But Michael cannot mess with Prince at all. Prince is this, Michael, Prince, and this is what I'm going to get into when I say the greatest artist of all time. Like, Prince has the record sales, he has the star power, he had the longevity. He had way more longevity than Michael, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Prince had all that. And the thing with Prince was that he also could play all the instruments that you wanted. Crazy vocal range, way better vocal range than Michael. And I would even say that Prince is a better songwriter than Michael because Prince wrote his own shit. But overall, like, when you look at it, with all that he can do, nobody could do as much as Prince did as a singular person.
Yeah.
Nobody could do what Prince did as a singular person. And that's why I consider Prince to be the greatest of all time. Because there is not one person. And like, it was just even like his guitar playing ability. I read somewhere that
of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell two stories. I read somewhere that
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric Clapton. Everybody know who Eric Clapton is.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Eric Clapton was asked, "Hey, Eric Clapton, how does it feel to be the greatest guitar player in the world?" Eric Clapton turned and looked at that reporter, and he said, "I don't know. Go ask Prince." I was like, "Oh
Wow.
shit!" I was like, "Damn." I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow." You know what I'm
And
saying?
say what you will about Clapton too, because I know Clapton has known to be not like having the best personality and all that. I mean, yeah, but with
But
that,
see, him would just come out and be like, "Yeah, go ask him." I'm like, "Wow." You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, he was somebody I heard that would give good compliments. Clapton, like he would give, like, yeah.
And then, I forgot who had passed away, but at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they was playing this song called "My Guitar Gently Weeps."
Oh yeah, George Harrison from the Beatles.
George Harrison died. Okay.
And right, yeah.
Man, Tom Petty, all types of like grade A top-notch guitar players was on that stage. And they saved Prince for the, for the end.
Yeah.
And Prince had on this red cheetah print hat
yeah.
and all this other crazy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Prince grabbed that goddamn guitar, bro, and gave, and I don't know a lot of guitarists because I'm not as knowledgeable as far as music as I need to be.
Yeah.
You would be hard pressed to find anybody give a guitar solo like that.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was playing. I'm surprised. Yo, Prince fingers. Yo, I'm convinced that Prince fingers was bleeding after that shit, bro.
Well, that's why I see, like, you know, it's funny how you mentioned like a lot of like the James Brown, but like with like the guitar playing, I see a lot of Jimi Hendrix influence in that, because Jimi Hendrix, of course, is considered the best.
I agree with that. Jimi Hendrix was different.
The guitarists I know that are considered the best. I mean, yeah, like I would consider Prince definitely up there. Yeah, like Jimi Hendrix. I mean, I know they say Jimmy Page, and of course Eric Clapton as well. You know, yeah.
Clapton. That's why when I heard Eric, I'm like, Eric Clapton is like always in people's top 3, top 5. So he's saying go ask Prince. I'm like, wow. But yeah, that's just pretty much just my point with Prince. Prince just, yeah. It was just so much he can do, and I think that he's probably, like I said, as far as like the artist that we've ever seen, he's the greatest because he literally could do everything. Like I heard Prince used to work with rappers. Like Prince worked with everybody. Michael just couldn't do that. Michael was just a performer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like if I'm in the studio, I'm working on some shit, and Michael in there, I'm like, yo, Michael, come help me work on this. Michael ain't gonna be able to give me the advice that Prince can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying, bro? I think Prince was a better songwriter. I think Michael definitely made songs where they were very catchy, and you know what I'm saying, the sound was extremely great. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like actual music, I think Prince made better music.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I definitely think that Prince definitely does not get the credit he deserves as much as Michael Jackson does.
But I will say this, like my favorite Michael Jackson song, "Smooth Criminal."
Oh, "Smooth Criminal" is good. Yeah, that's
because I like production that's real dark and sinister for some odd reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Michael Jackson songs, I know you said this is your least favorite off Thriller, but this is what Anthony said his least favorite, but one of my favorites is the one he did with Paul McCartney, "The Girl Is Mine." Like I know some people would probably say it's a corny song, but I don't know. I just think it's a very funny, especially like the banter between them, like talking and all that. Like, Michael, we're not gonna fight about it. He's like, Paul, I already told you I'm a lover, not a fighter. Like that part, but like just the song in general, like even how the beat gets to you too, and then like how like Michael Jackson starts. I mean, as much as I love Paul McCartney, I think like Michael Jackson definitely steals that song, especially in the beginning. And honestly,
Yeah, but most certainly. Like I said, I give credit to both as far as musically. I'll always be a Prince fan. I love Prince. I will go get my crate of vinyls, but I'll be on here for an hour talking about each one of these fucking albums. But I got 3 or 4 Prince vinyls. I will always like Prince over Michael Jackson. Beat It is a great song too, Kevin.
Yeah, he's like Kevin said it's catchy, so yeah.
It is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not mad at people for liking Beat It. It's a little bit too simple for me, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Van Halen does the guitar solo.
Yeah, at the end of
and he didn't get paid for that, I heard.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
That's the music industry for you, but
yeah.
Real quick, one thing I do want to close out with.
Sure. Let's, because I know we're at 3 hours. I can't believe we got to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask y'all.
For me, I wouldn't be able to just choose one. So I'll choose I'll choose like my top 10.
Let's do 3.
3. All right, fine. Top 3. All right, so that's gonna be hard now. All right, groups.
Or just say the first one that comes to your mind.
What are you hearing down to, like rap or like more of like what exactly?
Yeah, groups of all time. Let's do 3. I already have mine, but I'll let you go first.
All right, I'll choose some artists you probably wouldn't choose. So I'm gonna say Palmer Funkadelic, Led Zeppelin, Queen.
Great choices. The fact that you didn't put the Beatles, I think, is kind of crazy, but those are some great choices.
Because he's gonna choose them, so that's
I'm gonna choose that. And considering that, because that's hard because I got to think of mine now. Because like the thing is, wait, what was the question? Sorry, my thing lagged a little. Oh,
Greatest
just greatest groups. Yeah, 3 greatest groups. So all right, so I guess I'll go. And
I only have one who I think is the greatest, but I'll let y'all have 3 because I know it's probably kind of hard for y'all.
All right, so I'll go and then we'll end with you, Cato. So yeah, as our guest.
No, but I want to hear you guys' explanations as why you say that because, like I said, I want to.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to explain more of why you think that?
Yeah, DJ Mega, like why would you say those?
Explain that more.
Honestly, those are like some of the ones that came up to mind, but like, all right, so Palmer Funkadelic, I feel like they're more influential than probably people give them credit for, especially especially when it comes to like hip hop and stuff like that. Like a lot of artists sample their music.
Yeah, Funkadelic is ridiculous,
and they revolutionized like funk and R&B like throughout the 70s and
agreed. Them and George Clinton, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's why you say them.
Yeah, and they're also pretty versatile too because they also did some rock stuff as well that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. Is there any other ones? Because you said Led Zeppelin. Or are you just good with just saying about them?
Well, Led Zeppelin is just like one of the biggest like rock bands, so and they're very influential as well, especially on the hard rock scene. So, although Black Sabbath will also play a role in that as well, but anyway, so Queen.
Yeah,
Queen is a very interesting one because they just are again a very versatile band. They have, they could do like stadium rock bands and doing like what could be considered like a rock opera.
Yeah, well, Bohemian Rhapsody, you mean, right?
Yeah,
like, that song is. I wish more people who really knew about. I wish more people could really understand how amazing that song is. But
like the stuff like there aren't too many acts that was doing what Queen was doing.
Yeah, and Queen got hymns.
And Freddie Mercury as frontman. I mean, one of the best frontmen ever on for a band, I think.
And I'll add this to the other cameos for like maybe that's not the right word to use. So for all 3 of the acts that I mentioned, they're not replaceable.
Yeah,
they're like a one-time thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Tom.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this because I was trying to think of like the bands, and I feel like how can you not choose Queen too? So I'll say my thoughts on Queen. Yeah, definitely. I think one of the best bands of the 70s. There's something about them that just like. I don't know how you cannot like them. For instance, it's funny. My dad and I have a lot in common music. I mean, he is what got me into a lot of that stuff, like with the Beatles and all that. But he is not a fan of Queen. He just never got them. I love Queen. Like in high school, like I dig them. I love this stuff that they were coming out with, like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Will Rock You. I think another one, Bites the Dust, is great. But I think what I love about them too is that they all like. It's not like there are some bands, I will admit, that like one takes all attention than the others, and sometimes it's deserved because sometimes people of the bands like do less than sometimes they even get credit for as a band, and all that. But like they all 4 of them. I mean, yeah, I know Freddie Mercury was the star and all that, but all 4 of them, man, were just like had something all together. I mean, Brian May, like what he brought to the table was as the guitarist and all that. John Deacon as like those great bass lines, and Roger Taylor as the drummer, and of course, Roger Taylor, Brian May, and Freddie Mercury's all their harmonies together. I mean, their harmonies were the best. And John Deacon, even though he didn't sing with the group, his talent I think lied more with a lot of the songwriting that he did. Of course, Freddie Mercury wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, but John Deacon didn't. Yeah, John Deacon wrote like stuff like Another One Bites the Dust, You're My Best Friend, I Want to Break Free. I mean, he wrote a lot of those great ones, and it's sad that hasn't like been in the spotlight as much, and he doesn't play with Brian May or Roger Taylor anymore. He left like 20 odd years ago. I think basically from what I heard, he was always very a shy guy, but I think apparently from the way I read it is that the death of Freddie Mercury hurt him in a lot of ways, where he just did not even want to perform without him, in some ways, that from what I've heard. But then I'm gonna go on, and then of course the Beatles. I mean, Beatles for me is like the best band of all time, because the reason why I like, and I know it's so generic, everybody will say the Beatles in some ways.
Yeah, but I mean, it's generic, but it's true.
Yeah. These guys, I mean, this was the first band that I really like fell in love with. I mean, honestly, like when I got into a new artist, I would even feel guilty in some ways, like I was cheating on them, that like thinking that they were no longer the greatest, because I've always loved them. I've been a Beatles. That is honestly, the Beatles is one of the things out of all the things I've loved that I never really grew tired of, that I never really, there were times, of course, that I probably wasn't listening to it as much and where I wanted to hear other stuff, but it was never, they're the only group or the only thing like movie or pop culture wise that I've always stuck on to and always loved. And I think I always will, and I think that what the thing, like, yeah, like I know I'll always love them. They're a part of my childhood. They're like, there's no way where there's no like time where I don't want to hear a Beatles song. When a Beatles song comes on, I don't want to not play it. But like the thing about them too is that like everybody talks about is like, the influential with their songs, the types of songs they were doing. Yes, but their instruments were also something as well as a band too. They also were great musicians. They could play their instruments well. I mean, as like, figures go, all of it. I mean, John, of course, is, one of those figures that just is so like, great, and just somebody who I think over the years too just was very human with people and was honest about his personality and stuff like that, and was brave to say his flaws even if some people were like afraid of that or were still appalled by that to this day. He was able to be true to people and find himself in some ways, and Paul McCartney is the same way. He's one of those people that's just like down to earth and all that stuff, and even can still relate to new music, and that's why I think he's great even in the like with some of the new stuff that he's put out. Ringo, I think as his character traits of the Beatles is the most loving, the most funny of them. But he still is, it's still great to hear a Ringo song. Of course, it might not be as, powerful as something as John, Paul, and George did. But now with George, I'll end with George because, George is definitely someone who, like, in the reason of, like, with albums like All Things Must Pass, My Sweet Lord, damn, what he did in the 70s and stuff like that, what he did after the Beatles was something great. And honestly, he never got the credit he deserved with Lennon and McCartney. They kind of undermined him as being a songwriter and all that. This guy knew how to do songs. I mean, of course, something, Here Comes the Sun, but look at even earlier in 1966 with Taxman. I mean, how he wrote like a big protest song that's in your face, dissing the British government, using two of people's high profile people in Parliament at that time. I mean, just shows you the nerves on this guy, and like, just like, fucking fearless. I mean, yeah. And honestly with, and then the next band I'll go with is the Police. Like the Police is definitely, I think, one of the best. The thing that's interesting about them is they had a mix of, they're not like one genre of the subgenres. They're punk, they're reggae, they're all, they're new wave. These, I mean, Sting has a great, like, Sting's vocal range is great. Stuart Copeland is one of like the best drummers of all time. Andy Summers, this was another group that they all had their parts. Of course, Sting took away, as being the front man with his, with him being the lead singer and, right, and being the main songwriter of the group. But these guys did all that stuff. I mean, Message in a Bottle, Roxanne. I mean, like, even like, I love, honestly, a lot of their songs that are on the album tracks better than the singles. That's one of the groups I love their album tracks better. But Timothy, we got to go with yours. We'll end with yours.
You guys gave a lot of great insight. Most certainly, I could tell that you guys really do y'all research. Y'all know y'all stuff. And I mean, like I said, this is all subjective. Mine is probably very biased because it's my favorite genre of music. But the one thing I feel like that kind of separates my group just a little bit, they didn't play instruments, so that might already give them a knock a little bit. I mean, they had one main producer who just produced digitally. But I would say the group, to me, that's the greatest. And y'all probably gonna look at me kind of crazy. I would say Wu-Tang Clan. And the biggest thing that I think Wu-Tang Clan has that almost no other group has is that out of the 9 primary, there's 10 members if you include Capadonna, but out of the 9 primary members, like 6 or 7 of them. All of them dropped individual projects, but about 6 or 7 of them have an individual body of work that's a classic.
I agree.
I just personally don't feel like the Beatles. I feel like John Lennon probably had his own solo classic work, but did Ringo Starr, George Harrison, and Paul McCartney have their own classic work?
Well, Paul McCartney has work, but it's like
I'm talking about like classic work.
Wait, what?
I'm talking about like classic work, like things that transcended through time, like things that are.
I would say out of like, well, with Paul, I would say in some ways the criticism with him is some of his stuff was just so poppy at times that it's not. I'm not like that. Like there are some songs like I would say that definitely.
Does he have like a solo classic album?
It's hard. I mean, Band on the Run is definitely a good one. Ringo, definitely not really, but I would say John, yes, and George too, with All Things Must Pass. Like songs like All Things Must Pass, My Sweet Lord, yeah.
So 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. What about Queen? Does any of them have a solo body of work that's like
no, actually, none of them. I don't even think Freddie Mercury.
Exactly. Who somebody said Led Zeppelin. Do they all how many people are in Led Zeppelin? 5, 6?
Yeah.
No, 4, yeah. And none of them had like a big solo stuff after.
And even though, like I said, I'm probably very biased, and this probably isn't just like, well, just because they can make great music. It was like, they made 2 classic albums together as a group. They still make albums and music today. They're still featured all throughout pop culture and media today. The term cream.
I argue they're probably bigger now than they've been.
That actually is a very interesting take, and you might not be wrong. And their quote cream, cash rules everything around me. That's still all throughout hip hop today. People still say that.
Honestly,
so
I think
people who were even born when that song came out still say, "Yeah, bro, you already know cash rules." So that's the point.
Actually, might be the greatest hip hop group now that I think about it.
They're easily the greatest hip hop. Either them or Outkast. But like I said, I think they might be the greatest group because let's go down the list real quick. Method Man has Tikal. I don't know if Tikal is a classic album, but it definitely is a great album. Old Dirty Bastard has Enter the Wu-Tang Clan, 36 Chambers. I would definitely say that's a classic album. GZA has Liquid Swords. That's a classic. Album. Raekwon has Only Built for Cuban Links and Only Built for
That's
Cuban
a classic too.
Classics. Ghostface Killah has Supreme Clientele, Iron Man, and Supreme Clientele, Iron Man. He has another album too. Supreme Clientele, Iron Man. I forgot his other classic album, but Ghostface Killah has like 3. Yeah. Like I think Inspect the Deck. I don't know if he has a classic album, but he has some of the most classic, like literarily rich verses of all time. Like I just personally feel like out of the 9 members, 5 of them got classic albums.
I agree. Like honestly, you're right about that because there are a lot of artists in general I've seen be able to do that, especially come from like a group or a band.
And like I said, if we just talk about groups, like I said, I mean, of course, none of these guys played instrument. These guys were rappers.
Yeah, but if you look at like singing groups that people that broke out, a lot of them usually maybe like 1 or 2 that make it, and the rest of them just fall off.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not trying to make no argument or not like that. I'm just giving my opinion because I mean.
That's a good choice, I think.
Yeah, because if we look at it, like the Beatles have a way longer catalog of classic material in general, probably than all the Wu-Tang members both together and separate. So the Beatles are definitely, like I say, even though it's generic as fuck, it's true. You know what I'm saying? Led Zeppelin, classics on classics on classics. What is it? I mean, everybody else y'all mentioned classics on classics on classics, but like I said, it was just interesting.
Wu-Tang, I think it's in that conversation as well, because again, you said they got classics. They have multiple classics
together and sing.
That's very impressive.
Exactly.
Like, could you arguably they probably even outdone Outkast in that regard? Would you agree with that? I know that's kind of. I know that's a little spicy.
Like, Outkast have 6 albums, I believe, or 5 albums.
Yes,
it's either 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 are classics.
Okay, which one you don't think is a classic?
The one Out. Oh, you don't even remember that one. The last one they came out with in 2006, that came out with the movie, and it was called Out of Wild. That's their work. That's not a classic album to me.
That was yeah, I don't remember that.
You don't even remember it. You see what I'm saying, bro? So that wasn't a classic album. All the rest of them shits was classic. Speaker Box 11 Below, classic. Stankonia, classic. AT Aliens, classic. Southern Playalistic, what is it? Whatever music, classic. Aquemini, classic. Idlewild, no. But then this is the thing, though. Andre 3000 don't have a solo album. Big Boy has solo albums, but none of them are really classic material. Maybe one of them. So it's a little bit difficult. As a group, I would say Outkast probably is.
I think
as a group, because like I said, Wu-Tang had 2 albums. But as far as an overall body of work, they're probably very even. I might give the edge to Outkast, maybe just a little bit, but no, I don't know. They're probably very even. I don't know who I would give the edge to as a group, but yeah, I just wanted to get y'all opinions real quick, and I just wanted to end off with that, y'all. But like I said,
that was a really good one. I like that.
No, dude, you have like great insights too. I'm just like you were one of like no, I'm glad that you were on today. I mean, you were one of the best guests with characters. I mean, that's the thing with this show that we've been getting. I mean, the 2 other guests we have, like, we're friends and stuff like that, and they are great characters as well. And I think like that's the thing too. We want to get as many people on the show with like, you know, great personality, but like great, like we don't want to interview just anybody. And I'm glad that I had you on because you were somebody who I always thought was, you know, like had definitely special intakes with music. And I loved what you were doing with the organization and all that stuff, and like seeing that stuff on social media. And that's why I wanted to join. And you're the reason why I'm in it now, you know? So, yeah. So I thank you a lot for that. And, you know, it seems great. And like I said, I know that I'll definitely look for you for advice for some stuff. And, and I know there's some stuff you want to talk to me about that, too. That we'll definitely do that later. Yeah. And we'll definitely have our times of meeting with that stuff. But also, too, you're welcome to come back anytime, too.
I was going to say, I also have my own – I have my own show that I'm doing as well. It's called Always Lead to Everything. That also like deals with music as well as like video games, anime, and stuff like that. If you want to come on that show, and he comes on there sometimes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, come on that too.
Tom, give DJ Mega my information. Give him my Instagram.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll give that after. Yeah.
Because I also want to link you up with a friend of mine. He was on here earlier. I told his name is Carlos because he has his own like clothing line. Yeah.
Just what is it? Tom, slide Mega, my
DJMegaAim 17.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Slide him.
I'll send you his Instagram and then
Yeah, and Mega just
after this, I'll show him your Instagram and stuff like that. I'll have I'll have Anthony follow you.
I bet. And then Mega, link me up with whoever. Like I said, just, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, hook us up however you want to do it. But y'all, like I said, y'all, great show. I love what you guys are doing. Keep going with it.
This is my favorite episode yet.
Oh, appreciate that, y'all.
Yeah, this is really fun. Yeah. And no, like I said, like you definitely stole the show, you know, and you definitely are somebody that were just, you know, it was great, you know, awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, y'all. For real. But y'all, as I said before, thank y'all for real, from the bottom of my heart. Love to have you. I love to be able to come on and talk about music. Thank you guys for thinking about me. What is it? Tom, give some other people a chance to whatever come through. You do it at the show another time or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We'll work something out. I'd definitely love to come back on. It'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, sure thing.
Let me know about what's going on with your show. Let me know about what's going on with your show. But like I said, just thank you to everybody who tuned in. I know he was on here for a while talking our shit.
And I think Kevin's still watching. Kevin, thank you for watching all this time. Appreciate it. I know we've been going on for a while. You know,
Look, I'll say this.
You're definitely special in the YouTube family.
I'll say this right now. You know it's good when you don't even realize how much time has passed and you still want more.
Yeah, facts, bro. The fact that this shit's
I mean, we can talk all night. I mean, I could talk till like 2
I mean, I got a lot of shit to talk
about. I'm actually disappointed at the end now. Like, I want more.
Yeah, like, there's still stuff I want to talk to you about. Kevin just said no props. Yeah.
Well, listen, y'all. I gotta get ready to head up out of here. Tom, slide Mega my info.
Sure thing.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in and came and rocked out with us. Like I said, Tom, you ever need anything, bro, just hit me up.
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Timothy, for being on, and also happy belated birthday as well, man.
Appreciate that, y'all, man. Y'all gentlemen have a great night.
All right, sure thing. You too. All right, bye. All right. Well, he was just a great guest, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was really fun, and honestly, this is cool that this was the first show that you and I got to do in person.
Yeah, I think it was great. Like, this was an amazing episode.
Yeah, it was really good. And honestly, there were some times where I'm glad that, like, because I know there are times that, like, I'm glad that you were able to shine a lot too, and you were able to talk as well. You were able, and there were times that I was sitting back, which I think was good, that you guys were able to have your conversation, which was great, And I think that's what's cool about, like, what his organization is, that the organization that he was president of and then that I'm involved in, is that it's a diversity of music of, like, we weren't just talking about rock, we were talking about hip hop and all that stuff. And I think that's what music is, we all can understand it. Like, we all have a thing of it. Yeah. And I think an organization to appreciate that, but to also show the business of music as well.
Yeah, because that's a very important point. I meant to say that to him when he was still on there, because a lot of people don't really know about that stuff, and because they don't, a lot of people get scammed. So
yeah, exactly. No, it's true. And now, so I think we'll wrap it up for it being 3 hours and 23 minutes. Oh my god. Basically, what I'm gonna say is hit that bell notification, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button. Also, too, there'll be social media stuff. I know I'm saying this a little backwards, guys. But my social media links will be in the link below. Like I said, I had my Facebook group where I did my Disney journey. My Disney journey is over, where I talked about 20 Disney films, the early films from Snow White to Seven Dwarfs, which was the first full-length animated Disney film produced, to the 21st, which was Robin Hood. And the reason why I talked about those was, and it just focused on those, was because I feel like that was a time in Disney where they didn't have where it's like, they're great films, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're somewhat outdated in characters and all that, and how characters are perceived and all that. And I think that that's one of the films, and I think, like, they're outdated in some ways, and films like Little Mermaid was a resurgence for Disney, and that's where I feel like films now of these days are, like, more relatable. Hell, even Winnie the Pooh, that came out in 1977, I think is more relatable and has dialogue that I think still relates to us, and is still a classic film that, hell, like, I even get a kick out of watching today, that I consider, honestly, a classic film. I know, like, even more, I consider it highly more than the other Disney films. And those Disney films have, like, Aristocats, Leading the Tramp, and all that stuff, and they're great stuff. But I feel like, as time went on, Disney was able to come up with better ways to perceive characters and all that, and treat female and male characters better in the world than showing that, and not showing that. And, like, because with the early films, I feel like they had to show that men had to be strong, and and all that stuff, and women had to be extremely pretty and dream of wealth, and live in a castle with a prince, and those films didn't have to show that. Now, I know I'm getting a little off topic here with that, but so I'm done with that on Facebook, but you can definitely still check that stuff out. So join my Facebook group, Rad Mad Productions. Anthony, you want to promote any of your stuff?
Yeah, I guess, because I have quite a few things I'm doing.
All right, but sure. Why don't we do that?
But I also have a Facebook page called DJMegaAim 17, or just going to change it to DJMegaAim Productions, because that's the name of my YouTube channel. I also have a few podcasts that I'm doing, Always Late to Everything. That's basically like nerd entertainment. We talk about anime, video games, and music, and some other stuff. We also have Chronically Chill, which is a disability-related podcast. Bring people on and just interview them and have them tell their stories and promote whatever businesses, nonprofits, or whatever that they're doing. That's for all my shows, basically. I also have another show I'm working on called 65 Roses podcast. That's just for, like, specifically talking about 65 Roses, which I'm doing on my own. But there's some other stuff I'm thinking of doing as well, but we'll keep that hush for now.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Anthony. And this is a great show. We're so glad that Cato, Timothy, came on. I know I keep calling him by his nickname, but he wanted to be called Timothy. So so thank you for Timothy for being on. This great show, and we'll be doing, we do have some other interviews, that we're working on, that we're going to try to get on soon. Hope you guys enjoy this, and see you soon, and see you guys in the next video.
Until next time.
Till next time. All right.